And all three of us, it worked out.
Yeah,
Everything's fine.
and you got your West Ham jersey on, your West Ham kit. Sorry.
Yeah, I got
Uh,
my kid on. Yeah.
Welcome everyone to episode 175 of the Looks Like a Movie podcast. My name's Kevin. I'm here with Doug and Owen, and today we're talking about Her Private Hell. But first, as always, we could talk about what we watched this week. Doug, take it away.
I watched no movies this week.
Oh,
Swag.
but you're caught up on Love Island.
I'm caught up on Love. I just finished watching 2 episodes of Love Island.
Nice. How'd that go?
And we'll do
Actually,
a full
don't reveal too much. But
I was gonna say, well, maybe I shouldn't say anything though. We're gonna do a full Love Island episode.
yeah, we're gonna do a full Love Island
Announce.
episode. I'm gonna have so many questions for Doug just about his experience watching Love Island for the first time and all of your takeaways. We're gonna rank Islanders. It's gonna be a whole thing.
Yes.
Okay, but didn't you say you watched the first episode of Too Old to Die Young, or did you do that earlier?
Okay, so yeah, I didn't log it on Letterboxd, but I did. I'm watching kind of TV shows here and there. I watched most of the first episode of Too Old to Die Young.
Okay,
I
yeah,
did not watch all of it because I was watching it before we went to go see Her Private Hell. And the first
Ran
episode's
out of
like
time.
long as fuck. It's like
Yeah,
it's
well,
like 140 minutes.
spoiler alert. The second episode, even longer.
The first episode's literally like 140 minutes.
Yeah, the first
Jesus.
episode is no, I think the first episode's like an hour and a half. The second episode is an hour and like 35 minutes, and then there's like a couple. I think four.
It's like
you were
longer than
saying
this movie.
no, I know.
No,
Well,
literally,
like Doug was saying like, oh, it's just 10 episodes. Like you could just, and I'm like, dude,
It's
like
13
half of
hours
these episodes.
though. It's 10 episodes,
Yeah.
but 13 hours.
Yeah, I was like, half of these episodes are an hour and a half long.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well,
Um,
that's the streaming. Like he got the streaming money. It was in 2019. He got the. We'll talk about him, I guess, in
Yeah.
a second. But
No,
he got
no, yeah,
you know
we
he got the
will.
streaming money
I'm
and was
really
like, we're gonna do whatever the fuck we want. We're gonna make it long as
some
fuck.
yeah, some listeners of the pod probably have seen this show, but like I'm really curious about how it goes because when I was looking at the runtimes, it's like 9 super long episodes, and then the finale is like 30 minutes.
That
Um,
makes sense.
yeah. So I'm curious what that episode is like, but I've
I'm
only
so
watched the
curious.
first episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so Doug didn't watch anything. Owen, I'm guessing you watched something.
Uh, yes, that would be correct. Not too much though. I've been doing like just a bunch of like random stuff that like is not viewing. I've kind of been like, I think because when I to do for prep before shooting, I do a lot of viewing. And it's a lot of like very intentional viewing and like viewing with like something in mind. And then immediately after filming something, it's like I gotta sort of re-figure out like what I'm doing. Because I am sort of like I gotta figure out I didn't really sort of plan post making the movie. It's just you plan everything and you plan the movie and then like figure out everything later. So I haven't totally like I haven't got fully back into everything, but I have also been doing like small other research stuff on the side, which gives me some sort of focus point. So I've been watching a bunch of Alice in Wonderland adaptations. There's a shit ton, and I was actually talking to my uncle about this last night, where I was talking about the Wizard of Oz and how that Wizard of Oz movie in the 30s is such a definitive version. Where like there are other Wizard of Oz versions, but that one stands so far above. And I think with Alice in Wonderland, you have the 51 animated film, but in terms of live action, there isn't really one that is like I would say like the Tim Burton one just because it's new, but it's not considered a masterpiece by any means. There's not like a live action masterpiece Alice in Wonderland that everyone's like this movie is untouchable. Um, but I've been sort of going back. There's like short films and stuff. It's quite interesting as a someone who makes movies on a small scale to look at plays and low budget or like even big budget movies from like the 30s because the like some of the sort of tricks and some of the kind of language is definitely applicable to my kind of filmmaking where like watching Tim Burton work on a $200 million green screen Disney movie is less applicable. So I watched Alice in Wonderland 1933, which is directed by a Marx Brothers director who like did Monkey Business and House Feathers and a bunch of stuff. He just seems to be a studio guy who this movie seemingly there's like probably a lot of like history and like you could research this, but what I seem to know is like it was a bunch of people signed to deals where it's like Gary Cooper is the White Knight, uh Cary Grant plays the Mock Turtle. It's like kind of insane. There's some like insane guys in here who are just like doing like these bit roles and stuff where it's like you never see Cary Grant's face, but he's like singing under Mock Turtle costume. But I've been really just picking up on like what how people sort of approach the material. It's like a lot of the films they sort of combine the two books, which is interesting. Like there's a lot of characters that are in the Looking Glass that they just throw in anyway. I also then watched Alice in Wonderland from 1983, which is
No,
a what?
no,
No,
you're
no, keep
back.
going, keep going.
You're good.
Okay.
Can you repeat the name?
Alice in Wonderland 1983. Oh, did I like cut
Okay,
out?
there you go. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So this is a Broadway revival of the
Hmm.
1932 production, and notable. There's like a lot of notable cast in here, but one of my favorite is Nathan Lane, a young Nathan Lane as the mouse. He's really great. And I really was fascinated by the it's like a refilmed play, so there's like cuts and there's like a little bit of that visual language, but they are very clearly on a stage, and so it's like a combination of like almost like a TV movie with like the theatrical elements of it. And they would do this like really I kind of wasn't a big fan of it, but like I understand why they would do it. Where like when they would first introduce the character, like if they introduced the mouse, he would have the mouse head on, and then like it would cut away, and then would cut back to him, and then you would just see Nathan Lane's face, and then you would just Nathan Lane would just be his face the rest of the time you would have that character, which makes sense because like they're doing like it's a play, and I understand, but like I kind of just from jumping from like the 33 more like cinema rooted uh film, I do kind of prefer like Cary Grant just having a calf's head on his the whole time. Like I kind of like to be rooted in that a little bit. But I honestly think that the 83 Broadway, which is like 200 logs on Letterboxd, was like on YouTube. I think it's really good. I think it's one of the better adaptations that I've seen. I thought that was pretty cool. And then watched Her Private Hell twice. I think like
Crazy.
as I continue, like if I can, I think honestly I prefer, especially like for films we do on the podcast. I think watching it twice is very helpful. Um, this movie is interesting. We'll get into it, but like I think in terms of I really got to like sort of focus on like the very small sort of language things. Um, but I think I definitely want to see it again, just because I felt like it was a type of movie to see in the theaters that like is just it's such a rare opportunity to get that and to be able
Oh
to
yeah.
just sit there and like think about the movie and really study what the heck I'm looking at. I think that's a really great opportunity to do so. Like I said, it did like leak online, but because I have A list, it's just like I feel like I'm going to learn more if I'm watching it in the theater.
How does stuff like this leak online though? Because it's like
I
an
have no idea.
actual like 1080p, like basically what's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
that
sure. Like uh,
how does it even happen?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's a case by case basis, but like in terms of a movie like this, uh because like sometimes like a lot like the Hong Sang-soo movies leak like all the time, but like I understand like how that could work. But
Yeah,
like in terms of this movie,
it's like
uh
a studio backing, like yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
don't know.
they had a situation
The
like the
Avatar.
Miami Heat social media guy who leaked the LeBron video.
Yeah. And then just like a couple hours ago, I was like we had some family over and I was just sort of waiting for people to come over. And I threw on Our Hospitality on the TV,
The what's his
and
name?
Buster Keaton.
Buster Keaton, yeah.
And I actually started this film. I watched like the first 15 minutes of this at Kevin's house. And then I don't remember what happened. I didn't end up finishing it. And I
Oh,
honestly kind of was
I
kicking
don't
my
recall you watching it even.
you
Did
walked
you
in
do
and you're
that?
like, "What are
You
you
did
doing?" And
that.
I was like, "I'm like studying." I'm
Oh
like
yeah,
doing
that
I'm
did
like
happen.
working.
That did happen.
I'm like
Yeah.
working, and then like I think like we started watching like summer league games. Um, but I kind of was like watching it. I was like kicking myself because I'm like I could have maybe used some of this. So it's so like it is kind of I was kind of in awe of like all of it. I was in awe of like the first whatever minutes when I was watching it at your house because like it opens and there's like these like train sequences and it's the craziest shit I've ever seen. Like it's so crazy. And then like later on they're like there's this like they're in the waterfall and there's it's quite like I mean I was like kind of like not even really like fully giving it my attention. Like I was sort of like in and out of the room a little bit, but it would what so I like the sort of the plot wasn't really like my main focus, but the set pieces and the sort of there's like a lot of like Buster Keaton getting chased, which I was like, oh fuck, like this is like all I'm here for, and all this crazy stuff, and then people are like, there's the extended sequences with like people with like guns and they're like shooting at him, and he's running away, and then he like hides, and it's it's unreal. It's and I really like the because it is Buster Keaton, but it also has like there's like a Griffith style like costuming to the thing where
DW.
right DW where like it's not just like the a lot of Buster Keaton films feel like that's just like what they would be wearing, and this film he has like fucking giant top hat the whole movie, and like it's like very I don't know, there's just like it feels grander to me than some of his other films. A big fan. I don't know, I it's tough to me for me to like pick a favorite at this point, but this would definitely be up there in terms of like how sort of in awe I was of some of the pieces. Like really, there's like this one scene where the train is going by, and there's just like a donkey like on basically like right in front of the track or like on enough on the tracks where like they would hit the donkey. So they stop the train and they get out, and instead of moving the donkey, they move the tracks like they like pull the tracks a little bit like 5 feet, and then they get back in the train and they just keep going. And there's just a lot. I don't know. There's just so much like that. Or like that is just fucking like the best thing ever. And then there's one where like the train is going and like it goes into this like hole a little bit and then it stops and then like they like literally like reverse the train and then like all these cows come out of the hole and it's just like and the train is not like a normal train. It does feel like something like out of the Wizard of Oz or something. And it totally just could be like a type of thing that existed back then, but it feels like I'm watching some like Looney Tunes world with all the sort of craziness. Yeah, super magical movie. But yeah, that'll be all for my week.
Nice. um, I what did I watch? I watched a Mike Lee movie, Another Year, which like all of his movies I really like. It's about like an older couple who is just like pretty content with their lives. They live like a very regular nice existence, and they're like super in love with each other, and they like gossip with each other and like are just like normal, and all of like their friends are struggling. And they just kind of like it's just all of their interactions over four different seasons at their home, and it's just like their friends coming over and like them dealing with their friends problems and stuff. um Really good movie. I There's a couple like every time I watch a Mike Lee movie there are like actors who I know are super well respected, but I maybe haven't like
Right.
seen a lot of what they're well respected for, you know? And so like when you watch them in these movies, you're just like, oh, duh. Like there's Leslie Manville's in this movie, and like I've seen Leslie Manville in movies before, but like obviously a lot of what Leslie Manville is famous for is like on the stage
Yeah.
or like things that I will have just never seen. Um, and then she's in this movie, and I'm just like, that's like the best acting I've ever
Right.
seen in my life. Like I was like, she made me cry so much. Her character in this movie is like so beyond tragic. And his movies, like there's a couple he has like different kinds of movies, and the more I watch them, the more I realize like Naked is such an interesting outlier to be his like most popular movie that like average like film broy people will like watch Naked and then like never watch another one of his movies.
Right.
And the more I watch his movies, I'm just like, I don't like Naked. It's not like necessarily an outlier. Like it makes sense in terms of just like style, but it's just like I don't know the like what it's about just feels so different. And I was texting my girlfriend when I started this movie. I was like 25 minutes into it, and I just like sent her a smiley face. I was like, I'm so happy right now. And then I got to the end of the movie, and I was like, the Mike Lee movie made me sad.
Right.
That's like every one of his movies is just like you're watching it and you're like like you get like the sense of like these characters lives that you're in, and you're like, oh, this is so comforting, like these like I really like feel like these characters are like real people I know. It's like very sweet, and then by the end of it you're just like, oh, that was heartbreaking and awful. Yeah, so really good movie. Also, David Bradley is like another actor who I really only know from Harry Potter, unfortunately. And like that actually happens a lot with Mike Lee's movies, is that like
Yeah.
they're full of Harry Potter actors
Well,
and
I
just like British actors, of
well,
course,
I
to
think that's
screw
what I was gonna
over.
say is like
Yeah.
I think British actors often have that like because of the stage thing or like
Yeah.
their sort of name, it'll be like, oh, I've seen them in like one thing or two things, but like their sort of
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it is often from not the filmed
Yeah.
medium.
Yeah. And like all of the greatest British actors ever are just like all in Harry Potter. Like it
Right,
was just the
right,
one
doing
time that
like
all of them just like did the same thing. So you
like
just kind of like
so
know all of them from that.
being the janitor.
Um Yeah, and well, and to be fair, he's very good in Harry Potter, but it's like that is just like, his
Right.
character is the 20th most important
Right,
character in any of
right.
those
He's not
movies.
getting like
Um and in this movie, there's a lot of like, especially because he doesn't really show up until like two-thirds into the movie, and there's just like a bunch of close-ups on his face that just like hold on his face for a while, and his character is just like so sad, and his eyes are just like I'm like, man, that guy
yeah,
is awesome.
yeah.
It's pretty incredible. So another year I would recommend if you like Mike Lee, or if you're interested in watching Mike Lee movies. I watched Predators, which is the documentary about
Oh,
To Catch a Predator,
yeah, a
because I'm
little prime
preparing
time
for.
prep, yeah.
I'm doing some prime time prep. I wanted to watch this documentary last year, and now because prime time is coming out, I was like, well, there's no way I'm not going to watch this documentary before prime time. It is like this is maybe like some of this stuff is like maybe a little bit like more affecting to me than other people, but like this is like some of the saddest shit that I've ever seen on a screen in my life. Like it's so hard to watch. You get to the end of it and you just feel like so bad about society and like being alive, where you're just like, I don't know, are we cooked kind of like that's really how it makes you feel. It's like it's truly, and there's so many people, like so many reviews that I was reading from like average, like whether it's like letterbox reviews or whatever, where people like so greatly misunderstanding the point. And I saw that like the audience score for this movie is super low. Like the critic score is like a 90 something, and then the audience score is like a 35. Because people are like fucking morons and they think this movie is like supporting pedophiles or something. Not really what the documentary is about. Uh I don't need to go out and defend the documentary, but if you watch it, hopefully you'll understand. It is like tragic and really uh worth looking into, I think, especially before prime time.
When you said you watched Predators, I thought you were talking about the Shane Black film.
Yeah, I was just like in a mood. I was just like,
Yeah.
why don't I
I was
why
like,
don't I put this
okay.
on?
Get a cold one, step back, put some
Yeah.
Predators on.
No. The documentary. And this David is I don't know how to say his last name. Osset. He like his other documentaries also seem like things that I'd want to check out. Like I think especially after watching Predators, I'm kind of curious because it's not just like subject matter. Like it is just like a very well constructed documentary, I think. So I'd be interested to see more of like what he's done. I think he's had like other movies with relative success and people like them. So um and then yesterday I watched His
The
Girl
Danny Boyle
Friday.
movie.
What?
Danny Boy.
Yesterday,
Oh
the Danny
wow,
Boyle movie.
Umesh Patel.
Umesh
My
Yeah.
Patel.
my fucking
Yeah.
heart is for
The
yours.
go.
But,
No, I watched His Girl Friday yesterday. I watched this outside on my Owen has witnessed that I have a TV outside on my deck now, and I want to start like
Who's watching TVs? Who's watching movies outside?
bro,
no, I
yeah.
know. Well, like I was like I want to start using it because it's so jolly. It's like I could like sit out and watch TV outside, but I was like I want to watch a movie out there like at night where it's like just me and the TV, and it's like because when Owen and I were watching what was it,
American
American
Pie.
Pie, it was like there's still like the daytime like glare from the sun on the screen, and I was like I want to go out there
It
and
wasn't
watch a
that
movie at
bad.
night. No, it wasn't that bad, but like it was bad the other day when I tried to watch a movie during the day. So I was like, okay,
No, I
I'm
don't
gonna go out there
remember
and
it
watch a
being
movie
an
at
issue.
night. There's a ton of like bugs outside is the problem at night. So like I need to find it. I sat out there with a
Whoever lives in
blanket.
Bug City.
No, not really, but like there's I didn't want to get like eaten up by mosquitoes. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna put a blanket over me. But then it's like 80 degrees outside, so I'm fucking sweating under the blanket trying to watch a movie, and I'm like, this might I still have to work out the kinks of like watching movies outside, but that's beside the point. I watched His Girl Friday. It's really good. There's a lot of the jokes feel very like modern, which like I think it's just that like
Is
some of the
this
things that
the
we
Howard
find.
Hawks movie?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of like the humor maybe isn't even that modern. It's just that like people still found this shit
Cary
funny
Grant,
back then.
the
Like,
mock
yeah,
turtle.
Cary Grant.
The mock turtle
No,
himself.
there's like an incredible joke where Cary Grant, like, I don't know why I thought this was like the funniest thing in the world, but Cary Grant's like talking to this woman about Ralph Bellamy's character. Like this woman's like asking like how to find this guy, and he's like describing Ralph Bellamy's character, and he's like, that movie star Ralph Bellamy, and she's like, yeah, and he's like, it looks like him.
That's funny. That's funny.
I was like, that's a really funny joke.
Yeah,
Like,
that does feel very modern.
yeah,
Like
right.
sort of like
It's not my like. I'm sure, but like, just thinking about like somebody watching that in like
no, I know.
1940, it's like that's so funny, and
That's
like
funny.
it's just a very modern feeling joke. And there's like a lot of stuff like that where they just like say stuff, and I'm like,
That's
dude,
a
this
good
shit would
bit.
be
We should steal
funny
that bit.
today. Like, yeah, no, it's a great bit. I was thinking about, and I'm like, because people definitely have done that in like modern comedies, but I'm like, this must be the first
Right.
instance where somebody does. Maybe not, but like,
Yeah.
I don't
I mean,
know.
like, I feel like people don't like. I don't know. I felt this way. I feel this way when I watch a lot of like comedies from the 30s or 40s, where it's like if like the average person watched that, I feel like they'd be shocked
Funny it is.
how funny, but also like how translatable sort of the comedy is. We're like, there's so
Yeah.
much. It's like
Some
we
of
have
it.
that.
It depends.
It
I
does
think if the
depend,
average
but
person watched any movie from the 30s, they would be like, "That was really boring."
Yeah.
You know?
no, but I do think there. Okay, that's fair. But I do think there are certain comedies like that are like this is like very. You can obviously see the through line to a
Yeah.
lot of stuff today. Where I think like, yeah, I don't know.
I think the idea is like, how do you? The problem is like, yeah, they would probably fall asleep watching the movie, but like if you view the jokes in a vacuum, it's like if somebody could take this joke and
right.
just like make
Put
it
on
modern,
Instagram
like
Reels.
everybody, yeah, well, kind of, but like I just mean in a modern movie. Like it's like
Oh, I know.
if you took a lot of these jokes, like if you
No,
took a lot of the
because
jokes
you know
from
what
His
that
Girl
is?
Friday. and
That's
put them in a modern movie.
that's literally just Ella McKay, bro. Just Ella McKay.
Yeah.
That's just, and I'm like, dude, this is the fucking weirdest movie I've ever seen in my life. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, maybe you're right. Anyway, that movie's really really funny. Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell are incredible. And then I watched Her Private Hell. I've been watching some TV like Doug, but we don't really need to get into all that.
Can I get your guys'
started
live
Too Old to Die
reaction on
Young.
something?
Sure.
Can I
Did something
pull
happen?
something?
That's scary.
Okay. Okay.
Is it about something that's going on at San Diego Comic Con?
Yeah. It's
No
so,
way.
it's so ridiculous. Okay, I
Is
don't
it
know
about
if
a certain casting that just
right,
happened?
right. So I don't know if
Okay.
you guys have seen this.
Oh, Doug saw it already?
Yeah, I
Well,
saw it.
this has been going
Oh
around.
my god, I just opened Twitter.
Okay, this has been going. Okay, you saw the whole thing. Who's directing it?
I don't know if I saw the whole thing, but I saw something.
Who got cast and who's
Do you guys
directing it?
do you guys know who's directing it?
Yes,
No.
I do.
You do. Okay,
No.
Kevin. Okay, so earlier today there was rumors, and this has been going around for a long time, but it was Ryan Gosling of Ghost Rider, right?
Yes.
So there's going to be a
Confirmed
Ghost.
now.
It's confirmed now, and there's going to be a Ghost Rider movie in 2028. Who do you think is directing the Ghost Rider?
Is this like a
It is somebody you know. I have a relationship.
Oh yeah.
Kevin with.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Somebody you have a
like this
relationship with,
person.
Kevin.
No.
Oh, okay. I know the person, but I don't like them.
Yes.
You get 2 guesses, and then we'll tell you.
It's
you
pretty.
gotta get some
It makes
names out.
it's just like it's kind of just it's so like kind of obvious.
It's kind
that
of
like,
unbelievable.
painful.
Yeah.
It's like
Is it,
painful
like-
that like
Brother, we gave you 2 hints, and you have all the
You didn't give me
information,
any hints. You said it's a director that I don't like.
and that you know them.
Yeah, well, I
He
would
knows
hope
the
that I know the
person. And
person. Otherwise, I
it's-
can't guess him.
It's a Ryan Gosling film.
Well, okay, actually,
Marvel movie.
there's kind of 2 options here who it could be, and it is kind of the worst one. But it's like
Okay,
someone
just
who's
tell me
Ryan
who it is,
Gosling has
just
worked
tell me
with.
who it
It's Sean
It's-
Levy.
Yeah, Sean Levy. Somebody that has both
Well, I
made
was
Marvel
thinking about
movies and
I was thinking
worked with
about
Ryan
like it
Gosling.
could have been David Leitch. Like that could have been
Sean
like,
Levy makes way more sense than David Leitch.
No,
Sean
I
Levy
know,
was
but I was
in
thinking about like the like what's that movie that he did? Like
Cool?
the stunt. No, the Stuntman movie with Ryan Gosling.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck was that
the
movie
Fall
called?
Guy. The
The
Fall Guy.
Fall Guy.
Fall Guy.
Yeah, but this I don't know. This movie is like this sounds like one of those things that like never should like it might just never exist. It does feel very like in line with the Channing Tatum like Gambit thing.
No, well,
But-
the Channing Tatum Gambit thing, that was like a fan cast that was around when Channing Tatum was like young, like in Step Up.
No, I
There
know,
were like
but
fan forums talking about, like,
the Ryan Gosling Ghost Rider thing's been happening for like I feel
really?
like at least
I'm not
like,
aware of that. Okay.
it's I feel like this has been going around for like a long time. Or like
Okay.
people like he's doing like a totally unrelated movie press and they're like, so what about fucking Ghost Rider? And he's like, I could
Okay.
and it does, and I do feel like maybe it's I don't know what it is, but I do feel like at least in the last 5 years, I feel like there's been an uptick in the studios being like if they want this guy to play this guy, then he should play this guy. Where like I feel like a lot of the DC cast stuff, the James Gunn stuff, is very like this guy's a popular fan cast on Twitter, and it's very like
Well, Adrian
Right, right, for
Arjona is
Wonder
going to be
Woman.
Wonder Woman, probably.
right,
Just
where
because.
it is very like it would if it happened once it would be like whatever, but it happens so often where it's like you guys are on Twitter and you guys are fucking looking at these
and
things.
Lobo. Yeah.
Right. Where this movie feels very Twitter brain, but it's also, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird movie too. It is very funny to do like really struggle to get Blade off the ground and be like, all right, Ghost Rider. Oh, whoa.
It's over, bro. Kevin.
Dude,
Well, yeah,
okay.
here's the
Wait,
thing.
I have a new
The
thing, I have a
panel's
new
happening
thing.
while we're recording.
I have a new
It started
thing, I have a
at
new
the same time we started recording.
Wait, there's another
Um,
thing?
Though, so they cast Black Panther's son, and it's like actually like a big actor.
Is it
Um,
I don't know this. Is it Damson?
Black Panther's son?
Okay.
No,
As
it's Kevin, one of Kevin's guys actually is gonna
From
be
Industry?
T'Challa's son. I think so. Is David Johnson in Industry?
Yeah.
Yeah. My goat. I don't know why I can't think of his name right now. But yes, good actor. Wait, so
David
he's
Johnson. David Johnson.
David
David Johnson.
Johnson.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, he's
So
gonna
wait,
be
so he's playing
T'Challa's
Black
son.
Panther's son.
So like, I think like remember like in the second one, like
but does
he's
that
a
mean
young
he's like the
kid,
main
right?
character, or
And
it's
I
what?
don't know.
still?
In Black
Bro,
Panther
this
3.
is so
In
like
Black Panther
literally
3.
the Marvel panel at Comic-Con started the second we started recording the podcast.
No, Black
So like this
Panther
shit's
3,
like
David Johnson is T'Challa's son. I don't know what the fuck.
Interesting.
I would assume he's like a big. That's a bit. It feels like a big role. It
are
feels
they
like
gonna
a
do like
way
a time
to
skip?
right because he wasn't a kid. It feels like a way to recast the role without like recasting the role. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
That's cool. He's a really good actor. I'm
he is
interested to
really
see
good.
him. I'm interested to see him as like in superhero gear because he's like incredibly tiny.
Really?
He's like a
Like
he's like a
height
very
wise,
small man.
or
Yeah, I
just
think he's like 5'6".
really?
Oh yeah,
I'm
David
pretty
Johnson.
sure he's like quite short. Yeah.
He's 5'9".
Okay, 5'9" is way better. I don't know why. I thought he was even shorter, but I guess that's like normal.
I
Yeah. How
mean,
how tall was Chadwick Boseman?
Oh wait, bigger. Ryan Coogler is gonna direct it still.
yeah.
Ryan Coogler is coming
No,
back.
that was. I feel like that was
Oh, hell
you
yeah.
know
Okay.
because he did too, right? He
Yeah,
didn't
he
like
did too,
stop
but that was
doing
so
it.
long ago.
Yeah.
Sure.
That
I,
I mean
there's
that was
been like,
pre.
That
but
was
like,
pre-Sinners,
there's
bro.
been like, fair. I do think like it's like it is notable he's coming back, but he's been talking about that movie for a long time.
Okay.
Like there's like
I guess that's
and I don't
true.
know if this
Yeah.
is gonna happen, but there's like been like these like things where like him and like Denzel Washington on like or they're like Denzel. I've been talking to Denzel about getting him in the Black Panther 3 and all this stuff. So I feel like he would have to like it would be more like he left the project than him not doing it. I feel like I feel like he's always been attached. If it was like announced that someone else was doing it, that'd be
Well,
a big
Denzel's like
deal.
1000% gonna be in it.
You think so?
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I would like.
It's like, well, you know
Bro,
what? That's
Denzel,
like,
if you just like offer Denzel money, dude, like he's not gonna say no, bro. Come
right.
on.
Fair,
Like if
fair.
they're like Denzel Washington, we're giving you $10 million to be in Black Panther. You think
Yeah,
he's gonna say
but
no?
I
Like,
Bro, they
I
got
feel like they were
everybody at this panel.
I feel like they
yeah,
were talking
this
about
is
it for
like
like
juicing up our news segment so much, actually.
This
because
just
we
is our
were-
news segment.
I
No, I
feel like they
know,
were
but
talking about Denzel as like a bad guy, but I feel like with David Johnson, and I haven't even seen the second one, so like I don't even know. But like I feel like if you have like old Denzel mentor young David Johnson Black Panther, I don't know, that could be cool. But
You
it's
could do something
yeah,
like
Ryan
that.
Coogler's directing it.
The
yeah.
problem is that the second one, the anti-vaxxer lady, I forgot her name.
Letitia
She,
Wright.
Letitia Wright.
yeah, she takes the cowl, and she's like she is Black Panther, and
Yeah.
she also is on stage standing next to David Johnson.
Bro, they literally had a whole fucking set of movies planned with Jonathan Majors, and they just scrapped that shit. You're telling me they can't just like get rid of Letitia
Oh,
Wright?
wow.
Like,
He's on
that'll
stage
be-
right now, standing next to David Johnson.
No, I know, but like, okay, sure, but so she'll be in it still, but she's just like they're like dual Black Panthers. There's like
Yeah,
two of
that's
them.
kind of
Black
sick.
Panthers.
That'd be kind of cool, actually. I'm not gonna
Sure,
lie.
whatever.
Right.
That'd be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
Fuck
fuck
it,
it.
dude. Do whatever. I think the bigger problem is just that like Ryan Coogler's not gonna be able to like make the movie the way that he made something like Sinners. But
But maybe
but maybe Marvel will be cool as
Right.
fuck, and they're like, you know what, Ryan Coogler, just like you do your thing. Maybe
did
because
the
he was
second
number
one
2
make
on
a
the
lot
most
of money?
powerful directors list. They're
He
just
was
like,
number 2?
yeah, we're gonna talk about that actually. I put that in the news, but
That's I don't think I saw that. I was
That
more
list-
fascinated by the bottom like half.
I'm interested to talk about that later because I have some notes
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
list.
Okay, let's do
Let's
a
pause.
bookended news segment. Let's stop here, and then when we get to the news at the end of the episode, you could refresh your feed and see if there's any Marvel
Okay.
stuff to add to the news that I had already written down. This is what happens when we record a night before instead of
We record
our
at
usual time.
9:42 p.m.
Okay, we're gonna talk about Her Private Hell, but I did prepare a game for you guys.
Wow. How
did.
could you possibly have a game about this movie?
No, it kind of has nothing to do with the movie. It's just like
Okay.
it's just like another Letterboxd game. But
Okay.
But you know, I figured we could have some fun. Because I was like, I saw how low the score was for Her Private Hell, and I
Oh,
was like,
it's
how
so
do I?
low.
I was like, how do I make a game out of Letterboxd
Bro, we need to
scores again?
shoot
Because I was
some of
just
these
thinking,
people.
I tend to like that's the headspace I get in whenever we like review like a really low rated movie. I'm like, we should do a game because
I clicked on
I
a
noticed
random
the
half
score and
star
I'm just
review
like,
of Her
okay,
Private Hell, and a guy has La La Land as his favorite movie. So make of that of
it's a
what
good
you will.
movie. That's a good movie.
You would fucking have La La Land.
Oh, it just
I
happened
like
again.
that. Okay.
He also has La La
La
Land.
La Land is like the most popular 4 favorites movie on Letterboxd.
Always,
It's like,
everyone with a half-star review has La La Land.
yeah. Anyway,
Listen.
so you guys rated Her Private Hell high, Letterboxd rated it low, and so we're gonna do higher or lower, but Letterboxd edition.
Okay.
I got movies, and I made lists. I made separate lists for each of you, so you're gonna compete against each other and see who can make it further. I only have the maximum that you could do is 15 correct answers in a row. After that, if somehow both of you guys get 15
There's so
correct
many.
answers,
That's a
There's
lot.
so, okay.
15 is not that much. I don't know.
Fuck.
I was struggling with how difficult I should make it. So like it's possible that this is way too easy for you guys. It's also possible that I made it too
We
difficult.
suck.
So I don't know. I was like I didn't know what the sweet spot was, so I kind of just like picked movies. But anyway. And then I have a tiebreaker if somehow both of you guys make it through 15 movies. Okay. Who wants to go first?
Wait, okay.
I'll go first.
No, you guys are playing separately.
I got it.
Okay, you're going first. Also, do you think it's easier to do higher or lower with movies that have high average ratings or movies that have low average ratings?
Probably high.
Or do you think it's the same difficulty?
Probably it's harder to do movies with high average ratings.
Well, it depends what you count as low. Because to me, low feels like there's a wider margin than like high.
Okay, interesting. Because your guys' lists
which makes it easier
categories. But okay,
wait, what?
Owen's going first. All right. Your first, and also I'm not gonna tell you what the Letterboxd rating is for any of these movies. So you're just gonna go because I feel like that might make it easier for you. So you're gonna have to map out what you think the Letterboxd rating is.
Kevin, that's actually not how higher or lower works.
What do you mean?
When you do a higher or lower, they tell you the number.
No, I know, but I figured I figured that if I give you the rating, it's gonna make it too easy for you to like imagine it in your head. So I want you to guess the rating.
It's like this is like super hard mode.
Okay, fine. I'll tell you the fucking rating.
No, it's fine. I don't even need it.
No. We're doing the ratings. We're doing the ratings. Okay.
Don't. What? Don't.
Okay.
What the fuck?
All right. Oh, and your first movie, the movie you're starting with as your
base. If I just get the first one wrong, I'm just dead.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Sucks to suck. I mean, you could we could go through the rest just so that
I
just see the list. But
I just want to try.
Longest podcast ever.
Listen,
I just want to try. I just want to keep trying.
Not that. It's not going to be.
I just want to keep going.
Okay. Oh, and so the movie that you're starting with as your base is Zack Snyder's 300, which is I guess I won't do the average rating, but that's the movie you're starting with as your base. The next movie is Opera, the Argento movie.
Really?
That's crazy.
What are you considering? What are you considering? Wait, because you said like mine was different than Doug's or something. What was that about?
Movies you've seen, probably.
One of your no. So I made both of your lists based off movies that you guys have watched. So I looked at both of your Letterboxd. I'm saying Doug's list skews a little bit more towards like low rated movies, and your list ends up kind of towards high rated movies. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay, so I hate doing this shit because it's like kind of just like me like reading Kevin's mind a little bit.
But truly I put this together in like so fast because I know. Time, so like
I know what you're saying right now. I know what you're saying right now. But here's the situation where it's like you give me a shit movie and you give me a really good movie, and then you're like, which one do people like more?
Well, I also started the list,
dude. It's a trick.
It's not that bad, probably.
I started the lists as like difficulty. Like I wanted it to be easier for the first couple answers, and then get progressively harder.
Okay.
So don't overthink it.
But now you just see what you do there. You do that right there.
I just explained how I make the list to you.
So I'm going to say
I just gave you the answer.
Going to say higher, and if it's lower, you're evil.
Wait, so you're saying that 300 is higher than opera?
No.
No, I'm
He's
saying
talking about
opera is higher than. And that's
opera is
300.
higher than 300.
Okay.
You got one correct.
Okay.
You're freaking obviously.
Yeah.
But like
your
this
next
is
movie,
like this the whole that's the thing.
yeah. So is the next movie higher or lower than opera? It is Her, the Spike Jonze movie.
That's gonna be higher.
Correct. Okay. You've got two in a
Fuck
row.
that movie.
Your next movie is
These
the
feel like
first
high movies.
the first Paddington movie.
Lower.
Correct. Lower.
This is crazy.
Your next
I'm
movie.
nervous.
These are not low movies. These are like really good.
I just know. I said they're not.
No, I know, but like this is I was just not ready for that. I was not prepared for this.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought I was
Your
gonna get
next
like
well, because if I did
bad.
a fucking movie with a 4.
No, I know, but like these are all like like Paddington one has like a
You would
3.5.
Higher than that.
See, like damn, that's like fucking crazy.
Your
bullshit.
next movie is The Pursuit of Happiness higher or lower than Paddington?
What the fuck? Dude, it has to be lower. It has to be lower.
This I might have given you too hard of a movie too early. Okay, The Pursuit of Happiness you're saying is lower?
Is it like crazy high? I have freezing.
The Pursuit of Happiness is crazy high for a movie that sucks.
Yeah,
it's higher than Paddington.
Yeah,
it is higher than Paddington.
Is it like 3.9 or some bullshit?
It's a
4.0. It's 4.0, bro. It's
4.0.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's crazy.
I might have given you too
we gotta shoot these people.
Too hard of a.
I just that's where I was like you were like I was like, oh, Paddington's pretty high. I was just like basically I was like saying like there's no way on earth it has a 4.0. That was kind of my thought process. Which is like
Doug might smoke. I'm gonna give you one strike and just see how much further you could go, and then I'll do Doug's list. Okay.
So I'm at what is it?
You've gotten 1, 2.
No, but it's the freaking.
You're at
Will
The Pursuit
Smith
of
movie.
Happiness. Yeah. Okay. Is Brokeback Mountain higher or lower?
Huh. Okay.
This is hard. Yeah,
this is hard.
I didn't know if it was going to be really hard or really easy, but I guess it's hard. Yeah. I apologize, but Doug, your list might be easier than Owen's.
Well, you did post that question of like is it
hard?
And I do think the hires are way difficult, like way difficult.
Well,
let's
hold out judgment until we get to Doug's list.
Basically, what we're saying right now is is Brokeback Mountain a 3.9 or a 4.1? And it's like that's the same thing. That's like the same rating.
Well, yeah, the back half of your list is just separated by 1 decimal.
Right, which is
by
0.1.
Yeah.
You're just sort of like shooting in the dark, like a fucking crazy person.
This one this one is more than that. But
it's more than
bro's banting for like 5 minutes every single one, and there's 15.
Wait, you said it's more than 1 different?
Yeah.
Lower.
Brokeback Mountain is higher.
It's 4.2.
Wow.
4.2.
It's a 4.2. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Jesus.
Okay, that's two strikes. So we're gonna call it there. Unless you want to play the rest of them just to see if you get them right.
It's fine.
Okay. The rest of your list was the rest of your list was The Holdovers, which is higher.
Higher?
What? The Holdovers is 4.3. Yeah.
Nah, what is this rating?
The next movie was Rocky, which is a 4.1. It's lower. Then Jojo Rabbit is lower. It's a 4.0. Spider-Man 2 is lower. It's a 3.9. Possession is higher. It's a 4.0. Inside Out, I threw in as a curveball, is lower. It's 3.8. Babylon higher, 3.9. Knives Out higher, 4.0.
This evil list, bro.
Home Alone lower, 3.9.
Shit,
and Anora lower, 3.8. I thought Anora would.
This has nothing to do with her private hell.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
None of the games we play have to do with the movies that we're.
No, but I thought it being them like lower rated movies would have done something.
Sure. Someone is lighting off fireworks my neighbor is lighting off fireworks now as we're recording.
I will say I was expecting Her Private Hell to be like in the mix here. Oh
no. Well, I didn't want to do like my problem was like I didn't want to do movies that you guys will have like looked at their Letterboxd page recently and just like no. So I was like, I'm gonna do movies that you probably haven't
Right, you
watched in
didn't
a
want
very
us
long
to
time or something.
have a shot.
Yeah, no. Doug, your list actually has like the most evil start ever. I'm not gonna lie to you, but but then just in terms of like what the movies are, it can't be worse. But if you get it right, I think your list is a little bit easier. Okay, the movie you're starting with, Doug, is 8 Mile, the Eminem biopic. That's your base.
8 Mile.
And the movie that you're comparing it to is High School Musical.
What the fuck?
I feel like we've done this exact thing before. I feel like those two movies have existed together in our
High School
podcast before.
Musical.
Maybe they have. I don't know. Maybe I'm repeating myself when I make these games.
That's just
High
how
School
Kevin's
Musical
brain works.
has to be higher, right?
I
No,
don't know,
okay.
does it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Higher,
Kevin's
yeah.
evil, bro.
Your answer is higher. It's lower.
Damn. See, man, he's fucked up. He's really evil, bro. He's
When I
fucking
made
evil,
the
bro.
but when I made the list, I was like, they're so far apart that it doesn't seem that hard. But I wasn't thinking about what the actual movies were. Okay, let me scratch that. We're starting with High School Musical as your base. Okay.
Okay.
High School Musical or Wuthering Heights?
Oh, the Wuthering Heights is higher. This is crazy. No, I okay, whatever.
Like a lot.
People really like both of those movies.
No,
People
I
really
know,
like
but Wuthering Heights is
No, but like
0.6
Wuthering
lower.
Heights
It's not
has like,
even,
straight up like this movie is like the worst thing I've ever seen, and I don't think that like
Yeah.
applies to that High School Musical.
So
Sure.
8 Mile, for reference, 8 Mile was a 3.6 and High School Musical was a 3.3. And then Wuthering Heights is a 2.7. So massive gap.
Damn.
Whatever. Whatever.
And then the
What was the
rest of
next
your
thing?
list was Black Hat, which is higher, 3.0. Men, which is lower, 2.8. 2012, which is lower, 2.6. Spring Breakers is higher, 2.8. After the Hunt is higher, 2.9. Only God Forgives is higher, 3.0. Don John is lower,
Fucking Don
2.9.
I'm not gonna lie, this is
I was just
probably
looking at the Don John thing.
like harder than Owens.
Yeah,
These are like
I
this
didn't.
selection of movies are
I
crazy.
underestimated how hard the beginning of your list was.
Don John is a bad movie, by the way.
Yeah. Maestro is higher, 3.1. Iron Man 2 is lower.
Maestro has such a
3.0.
low
Yeah,
average
because
rating.
they
That's crazy.
fucking hate Bradley Cooper. They're homophobic.
That movie's really
I
good.
realized that you only have this movie logged because I made you watch it. Love, Simon is higher.
You made Doug
3.2.
watch Love, Simon.
I don't know if I did. I feel like that's why he watched it.
I
Or
watched Love
maybe
Simon
not.
in high school.
Yeah, Doug
Oh,
was,
I
Or
guess you
middle
watched that
school,
at
even.
school,
Not,
I thought I
multiple
streamed it. I thought I
times in
streamed it in the Discord a long time ago, and that
maybe
was
you
why
did
Doug
also.
watched
Maybe
it.
I've seen it more than once.
But
Love
Long
Breakers.
Legs higher, 3.3. Saltburn higher, 3.4. And then the final movie would have been The Devil All the Time, lower, 3.3. So maybe that's
all the
higher. I don't know. Do you guys want to guess the tiebreaker? The tiebreaker was what's the lowest rated film of this decade that you've both seen?
It's
Of
gonna.
the-
Oh,
of the
oh.
2020s?
Movie you've both seen this decade
Oh.
that has the lowest average rating on Letterboxd. I'll give you a hint. It's recent. Like,
yeah. Oh, I
much
know
closer
this,
to
but I'm not
today.
gonna be able to pull it out of my ass.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. Because it's like some
Uh,
bullshit, bro.
I don't
I'll give you an
know.
even bigger hint. It came out this year.
No, like I know, like it's super recent, and like I just like I
Yeah.
can't, like I just can't.
Movie
pull
that
it.
came out this year is the lowest rated movie of the decade that both of you have watched.
What did we rate it? What did I rate it, or something like generally?
I'd have to
I
check
don't
your ratings,
know.
but I think both of you rated it much higher than the average, like a lot higher than the average.
Is it? It's not Her Private Hell.
No.
It's
It's like a
not Her
1
Private
point something.
Hell.
Is it Return to Silent Hill?
It is Return to Silent Hill.
That's crazy. What the fuck?
It has a 1.4 average on Letterboxd.
We gotta kill gamers, and I'm so serious. We gotta kill gamers. 1.4. That's crazy. That movie's good. The movie's good.
It is good. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that would have been the tiebreaker, but Owen takes the crown. Next
The
time I do
tiebreaker
this,
of just like
I'll
guessing the movie.
that would have been the tiebreaker if you guys had like the same score, or you
Right,
went
but we
through
just
the
had
whole
we
list.
would just had to have guessed it.
Yeah, it's like just whoever guesses the movie.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I made the list way too hard apparently. So I'll
Yeah.
workshop.
It
that
is
and get
hard. It
back
is
to you
hard
guys
to
next
get
time.
it is hard to get a 1 point something.
Yeah, I
You kind
thought
of
if
have
they
to
were
have
like such,
especially
you know what
on a
I
new
mean though,
movie.
is like I thought if they were like such big gaps, then it would have just been odd. Like if I
Oh
gave
no,
you like
I
a
meant
movie that's
like
like a 3.8,
I meant like a
and like
1.4 rating on
oh
Letterboxd.
sure
Like
sure
it,
sure sure
I
sure
think like
yeah, it's like
older
impressive
movies,
kind of.
that were like really hated. But then also it's like new movies that like have like sort of like a almost a campaign of hate
Yeah,
towards it. Like it's like
right.
you have to get like a such an overwhelmingly amount of negativity towards the
Right.
movie.
And speaking of a campaign of hate and
Oh,
overwhelming amount of
Yeah.
negativity,
What do you
let's
guys think
talk
about
about
that?
Her Private Hell.
sure.
What do you guys think about the people hating this movie? It got
Um,
panned. It
I
got
think that's like
panned
it's like a pretty normal reaction. I don't
at
think it's like a normal
Cannes.
reaction out of Cannes, but I think it's a normal reaction
I
out
think
of
Can
like
is stupid.
your local movie theater.
Is
Uh,
Cannes? I think is Cannes growing soft.
Is Can cooked?
yeah,
I think Cannes might be like
maybe.
cooked. Well, influencers go to Cannes now.
Yo,
You know what I mean?
right, true. Where it's like
Sure.
because I think like it's I'd be curious. It's not you're not really saying the French didn't like this movie because you're saying this beauty
This
influencer who
outside force.
right who went to or whatever some
No, I think also the French didn't like it, if I had to
right,
guess.
but
I'm gonna be honest,
it,
I think most people didn't like it.
but but can we say that the French for sure didn't like it?
I think you could say with confidence that everywhere in
Right.
the world people don't like this movie.
So yeah, it's not a
This is not a well-received movie.
I'll say I don't know, my friend's average rating on Letterboxd
mine's
is
pretty high.
is a 3.13.
Mine's a 3.2.
See,
Don't
this is what I'm
wait.
saying.
Mine is
Yeah.
wait, how do you check that? Why isn't it letting me
On
do that
desktop,
anymore?
you click 19 watch on activity
Yeah,
from
you click
friends.
who watched it, and then it says your friend's rating on this. On the
Oh,
side.
okay. I clicked the wrong thing. Mine is a 3.5. Killers.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I got some friends who did not like this movie.
Yeah, I follow someone that gave it a half star, but whatever. This movie's really good. Her Private Hell is really good. Why do you think people aren't? Some people aren't connecting with it.
It's
Or
like
are
the
offended by it.
the plot. The plot is very very thin. The
Yeah.
performances
Almost no plot.
The performances are very specific
Tilted?
and stilted and whatever you want to call it, but they're not typical performances, or nor are they getting typical direction.
Certainly not typical in pop movies.
No.
Yeah.
And I would say that like it has a awkward and almost like it's the rhythm of the movie is distant. It is not a movie that is like I think this movie is very fascinating, but I do find myself like it's not an easy watch to me. Like it is like a movie that I'm like I think it kind of moves in like this part is like really fascinating. Then we're on this thing, and its sort of rhythm is kind of clunky in a way.
Interesting. I think it's kind of hypnotic. Where I'm sitting in the movie theater, and I thought this while watching it in the movie theater. One, I was like, kind of what you were alluding to earlier. I was like, I can't believe I get to watch this in a movie theater. Like that's incredible. But I'm sitting there, and I'm like, man, I kind of wish this movie was fucking 6 hours long.
Yeah.
Because like every time there was a new scene, I was like, fuck, this is so interesting. And you know.
Yeah, that's like
I just don't think it's as poppy as like it may suggest in terms of that. Like that, it is slow.
It is possible that somebody who watches Yellow Jackets like went to the theaters to watch this.
Oh,
for Sophie Thatcher,
no,
like,
1,000%, 1,000%.
That would happen.
That's a lot of the outrage.
I think what like to me, I think the biggest thing is what you said, which is like the plot, because it's like even people who are disliking the movie are gonna walk out of it and be like, oh, I think it's cool, like it looks cool, you know, and then they're gonna be like, okay, well, you know.
I think some people.
No, because
let's talk about Megalopolis.
No. But like the thing is like
to me, Megalopolis is more like the rhythm of that movie is more standard.
Yeah, but I think the thing is like our friend who I had on the pod, Zach, interviewed the editor of this movie.
It's a really good interview.
It was an awesome interview, and in that interview, he talked about like pacing, and he was like, "Oh, like actually, he wasn't talking about Her Private Hell. He was talking about a different Refn movie. I can't remember which one right now, but he was talking about, maybe it was Only God Forgives, and he was
It's
saying
probably
that like actually the pacing isn't like that slow in terms of the edit. Like it's like the edit
right,
is pretty fast.
right,
Like the rhythm of the movie and the images is actually pretty fast. It's just that like people think it's slow because they can't like sit with the image and think about it. They're
right.
just
Well,
like they
what
just want story. And I think that's like that pretty much sums
yes,
up why people don't like
that's
movies like this. Like it's
well,
like they want
it's
story and they want to be entertained, and then they watch a movie like this and it's like the movie doesn't have story and they're like, this is boring.
it's
Like I'm like,
something
no,
that
It has a
I
story.
noticed cutting
sure, but
uh
I'm not talking about me. I'm talking
when I cut 10 dates and I showed it to people, and I really understood this thing immediately, where the speed and cutting and the actual rhythm of the film are not always the same. Where like our movie, Kevin, is that you'll have shots for 3 minutes, but because the dialogue is so overwhelming and so
yeah, they're
like
talking
constant,
nonstop.
that
Yeah,
you're constantly getting like fed with stuff. Where in
right.
this movie, I was really drawn to this, like, you have a lot of people thinking about what they're gonna
Yeah,
say, saying something, and then people thinking about, like, it gives a lot of space between words, and you're very much like, it's really interesting the way that, like, in these performances where you are really drawn and you're really focusing on very minimal things, where like the
yeah,
lines are short, they're sort of direct, and then the performances are very, they're not they're just kind of,
yeah,
they're not very like showy and big, and we're like talking a lot quickly, but again, it's not cut um like I don't know, some, very big blockbuster where you're cutting every 2 seconds, but it does cut like on a normal pace. Like it's not like, even like the
yeah,
dialogue sequences, there are multiple angles and multiple cuts that you're getting in these
right,
sort of, it's not like it's just like the camera is set there and it's slow, and
right. But it's
there,
like that's the difference between pacing as like a filmmaker and pacing for the audience, which is just like, am I bored or not? Like
right,
it's like,
right,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
In the
um,
movie, for like pacing, it's like, for example, a character will walk into a place and they won't say anything, and they'll like look
yeah,
around for a second, and the camera will pan, or like they'll cut to
right,
another thing, and it's like that's building tension. And the tension is kind of what I think is like hypnotic about it, where there's
Yeah,
so every
right.
every every scene holds so much tension where you're like, fuck.
Because you're
right,
thinking with the characters.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
it's interesting because right after watching this movie, I watched the first episode of Too Old to Die Young, which Doug also has watched at least like a majority of. And
Yes, you
like
have.
what you're describing, Owen, is like in that show, it's like times 100. Like it's like
really, yeah,
the
yeah.
way that characters talk is like if you just said that to me and instead of responding to you, I just sat here for a minute and then was like, yeah, you're right. And that's it. And I would just be like, yeah,
Right,
you're right.
which
And then
I
like a
like,
minute goes
honestly,
by and
like,
then you start like your next thought.
I
And it's
think
like
like I'm
crazy.
really sort of I think it's really like admirable, and like
Mhm.
I think like it makes me want to push that, like that sort of like, I think like it was funny, we were shooting, like, and an actor asked me if I wanted it like, so, or faster, and
Yeah.
I think Kate was basically like, oh, he will always want it
Yeah.
slower, but
Never
is like, this really pushes what does slow mean, right? Like what is slower,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think it's really like,
Yeah.
my
Because
big
this
thing
is
with
like
this
slow
movie,
beyond what you expect. Like even
right,
when you say slower with what we were filming,
right,
it's like if you watch what we filmed, every conversation, even though they are not talking fast, they're
no.
talking like people. But like in these movies and like in Too Old to Die Young,
Yeah,
it's like
Alien,
they're talking at a speed where it's like people don't have conversations like that.
right,
I, I have like
but
a connection that I want to
yeah, yeah,
make
yeah,
about NWR, who NWR, I don't know. I'm gonna tear up. I really like him. Like he's like seems like such
Yeah.
an interesting creative guy. It's unbelievable that he gets money to do stuff.
Yeah.
Like he got money to do uh
Well, kind of.
Too
He
Old
hasn't
to
made a
Die
movie in
Young.
10 years, but yeah, he
No,
did
no,
get
but
money to
because
do
he was
that.
doing his TV
Yeah.
shows, right?
No, yeah,
'Cause
that's
he got
fair.
his like the money to do Too Old to Die Young. It's a 13-hour miniseries on Amazon Prime starring Miles Teller. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Where you're saying where it's like just like slow cinema, like fucking Bellatar, like what if Bellatar made
Right.
Miami Vice, you know?
And
Like
then Amazon Prime like threatened to kill him, and they were
no,
like,
no,
"We're gonna
literally,
shoot you with a
like
gun."
yeah, no, Nicholas Winding Refn, he has like a quote where it's like Amazon said that they would bury the show, and they
Yeah.
did, but then Adam Naiman said something where it's like, well, you can't bury a diamond or whatever, you know, like
Yeah.
That's
anyways,
fire.
yeah, uh, but I think that there's a connection where, and it has to do with his very public friendship and relationship, like working relationship with video game author
Mhm.
Hideo Kojima,
Yeah.
right? Where I'm watching Her Private Hell, and even like describing Too Old to Die Young, right? As you are, it's like this is like
This is the
video game logic. You know,
right.
there's
Yeah.
scenes in
Right.
Her Private Hell where it's like, or like even what you're saying, where it's like you say something and then like you wait a long time to
Right.
respond. Have you ever played a video game with dialogue
Yeah.
options? You're sitting
Right.
there and you're
Well,
reading them, and the
Right.
other
there's
guy's just standing there, and the
It's
I
characters are there
it's
silent.
almost like
very much
you're playing a game and you got the option for the dialogue pop up, but there's no timer, so you go to the bathroom to like pee really
Yes,
quick,
no,
and then
yes,
you
yes,
come back
yes.
and click the response.
No,
I think like
genuinely,
Charles
yes.
Melton's section
Yeah.
very specifically, like he'll walk into the place and like
Yeah.
it's very like it's like a cutscene
It's like an Atlas game. It's like a Persona game. Yeah. There,
it's very
even
cool.
like the two girls that pop up, there's a scene where Charles Melton walks into the doll shop for the second time, and the
Yeah.
two girls pop up that were introduced earlier as like they're kind of like overseers. I don't know. The internal
Yeah,
logic in the
they're
movie isn't very
Who
clear.
can
Yeah.
describe
well, no, there's
Um,
like a bit of dialogue. I'm not gonna be able to sort of pull what it was more clear to me on the second viewing because it
okay.
like they basically like say there is a bit of dialogue. There's like this is what these are who these people are, and like what their sort of meaning here is.
Right.
Where like they're talking about how like they're not good or bad, but they are neutral, and this is what they are, and they just exist here, and there has a whole
Right, I
bit
do
about
remember.
like
Yeah, yeah.
how they sort of serve the story and they exist in this world.
That scene where Charles Melton meets them after entering the doll shop for the second time after confronting the Yakuza, it hit me like a train where I was like, this is literally a video game. It's like we might as well be watching a live action restaging of a video game scene. Where I was like, this is unbelievable, actually. And that's when I got like, leaned forward and I was like, this, like, so many doors just opened up for how interested I am in this movie. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's just a connection I wanted to make quickly. Yeah.
very much. And I think what I sort of immediately when you're talking about all this stuff, and when we sort of started being like maybe it's sort of an honor to be able to watch something like this in the theaters. I think it really goes to this like it is a vision that is so uncompromised, and his work is so uncompromised, where it's like he is doing exactly what he set out to fucking do, and it is so him. It is so like the there's no other film that is sort of or a filmmaker who is making specifically these kind of movies. And you never feel with this film like it is a a a watered down version of that. Like this is flying at a fucking 150 miles per hour in terms of like his stuff.
there
Um
there was
and
an
it's
interview with somebody, I
really
don't know if it
great.
was Zach's interview or a Variety interview, where somebody said like Refn would have like references and stuff,
Yeah.
and then when they like became like developing the look, Refn was like, okay, now we're gonna do everything on sound stages, so we have complete control, right?
Right. I really love it has there's two modes of the film where the interiors are like physical. Like they're very created like physical like they're real. They look real. And then the the exteriors
Yeah.
are like very it reminds me of the what was the what Paul it was the Paul W.S. Anderson movie with Dave Bautista
In the
and like
Lost
In the
Lands.
in the
Lost
Lost
Lands, yeah.
Lands. It
I
reminded
was
me of
actually gonna bring that movie
like
up, but for a different
sort
reason.
of that being like the computer generated like sky and all that stuff. It had it, but also like it makes me think of the Star Wars prequels. It makes me think of Megalopolis, like any of those big sort of um computer generated worlds that like are very like obviously sort of digital in a way. Like there's scenes where like there's this really like bizarre scene where it's Sophie Thatcher and Havana Rose Liu, and they're on the like they're just like on the balcony, and it looks like a blue fucking video game is behind them. Like it's very
Mhm.
like there's like it's almost pixelated in a way,
Yeah.
and it looks like it. No other image looks like that in any other movie in a way of like the type of sky like but there'll be these like really interesting cuts to just like quote unquote b-roll of like the outside of the mist and all like the city, and it's like this is insane. But then when you cut inside, it's like this is a established room with like logic to it and like characters in spaces, and it feels very like it there's a tactile nature to the film despite its like sort of the outside world being very like sort of a liquid almost.
Right.
I have a question for you guys,
Yeah.
especially at the very beginning of the movie.
Mhm.
Do you think that the exteriors are AI generated?
No.
I was thinking, well, like the
Refn has
very
come out as a
first.
very pro AI guy. He was in a Prada ad that was completely AI generated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they are, but I was thinking in the very first like the first image in the movie, like that first exterior, I was like, this kind of looks like you know how you know how on Steam you could download like wallpaper engine and like
Yeah.
get custom wallpapers. I was like,
Yeah.
this looks like a wallpaper engine wallpaper. Which made
I'm
me
gonna
think, I was like, yeah, you definitely could have just done this
I'm
with
gonna try
AI.
to I'm gonna try to do a little because I remember in Zach's to bring Zach's thing up again. There's a let me pull this up because it is I remember him the editor talking about Copenhagen Visuals being like the sort of team that they worked with, which is a VFX team. Uh,
Interesting.
and
Okay.
so I assume that it's my understanding is that it's not AI, but maybe if I'm just like sort of skimming, no,
But
I
it
don't think
looked
this.
like it
I don't
can
think
be.
I don't think there's an AI component to Copenhagen Visual, but it definitely has been getting sort of comparisons to AI
Yeah.
imagery, specifically the sort of exterior, like sort of wides.
Right.
But they also there's like I think like if it is AI, it's like I mean, I don't think it is, but like I think it looks very like specific because there's
Mhm.
like these big shots of these crystals, and
Yeah,
Refn's really big on these crystals, but then they also have the crystals later when they are like in this sort of like
it's like
fog,
a movie set.
right? And then like the
Yeah,
crystals are like there.
yeah.
So it's like it does. I am under my understanding and my sort of feeling about. I don't think
It's just like I said.
they're.
Yeah. Okay.
I just
That's
think it
fair.
was like a VFX company that worked
I
on
have a
it.
question for you guys as well.
Yeah.
And maybe Owen is best equipped to answer this question because he's seen the movie twice. But I'm sure Doug has thoughts as well. Uh, what's
Yeah.
this movie about?
Oh, I've thought about this so much. I thought about
Yeah.
this so much.
Not a
I
lot
asked
of
And
so
I
how.
mean, obviously, there's like the side of it where it's like, you know, like Reppin had like heart failure,
leaking
right? And like
heart.
almost died, and
Yes.
then like he made, yeah, and like made this movie. Like putting that aside, like just like in, you know, like in the movie world, like what did you guys take
Oh,
away from this movie,
so
or even including like his
Owen
own personal
probably will
thing?
be more
But
well equipped to answer this because, like, as like the literal what happened because he saw
yeah,
it twice.
yeah.
So I was trying to build a thesis, like about
Yeah.
like the
Well, I mean on like
thematic.
a thematic level. Yeah, no, no. I
Okay,
don't mean
like
like the plot. I'm just saying like what
right.
you got, like
So
what you got from the movie.
I was trying to build like a thematic thesis while
yeah.
watching, and I got to the end, and while I was watching, I was kind of like building in my head, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's really interesting." And then at the end of the movie, I was like, "Is I don't know if that actually holds up. I don't know if that's actually
Right.
what the movie's saying." Because in my mind, I was like, "Oh, it's like about the intersection of having a bad father and being a bad father, and
Yeah.
how those two things kind of collide." And I was like, "That's really interesting." And then after the movie, uh, I asked Clara, I was like, was the
What do you
Charles
think this
Melton
is?
character a bad dad? I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know if he was actually. So I was like, I don't know. I feel like
No.
my thesis doesn't. So I'm not sure. Totally. What do you
Because
think, Owen?
what would characterize him as a bad dad?
I was because
You know what I mean? It's
the
like
police officer
They
set
don't
like
talk
kind
about
of
that.
calls him like a
that he
bad
failed,
dad,
that he
like he
failed,
failed
right?
as a
He's
father.
like you failed to be a, yeah.
Yeah.
But like in reality, it's like all we really learn about him is that he's like so desperate, like he's dedicated his whole life to searching for his daughter, and like he
Yeah.
cares about her so much, and it's
But
like,
the villain is about like the thing is like he goes and he takes women or like kills like women
yeah,
that with fathers that leave basically is how the
Right.
story at the beginning is phrased,
right,
and he takes Charles Melton's daughter and he's coming for Sophie Thatcher.
right.
So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I
Like,
know. I like that. I thought it was a movie about fathers and daughters, and then by the end of the movie, like I did the same thing as you, where it's like while I'm watching the movie, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to figure out what this is about, and I think like to the point we were making earlier, like the movie gives you time to think about those things, you know, like you can't just
Right.
sit there and be like, huh, I wonder what this means, and I wonder what this means, and then I got to the end of the movie, and I was like, I do mostly think it's a movie about like people being hot. like
well,
that's
yeah.
like that's like kind of like I don't know, because I was like, yeah, it's a movie about fathers and daughters, and then like I got to the end and I was like, yeah, mostly it's like a movie about people being hot, and like that's cool.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I don't know. I think like to me on the second viewing, the the fairy tale of it all sort of stood out more in terms of the language of how they sort of talked about stuff as Refn sort of talks about this like sort of base basic like fairy tale narrative structure that like everybody is sort of familiar with, that you can portray on like a super basic thin level and just sort of stem off of that in ways that you'd want to. um but in terms of the sole singular idea, I'm not quite sure. I think like there's something very interesting I think Refn was talking about with the violence
Hmm.
and sort of the literal like the killing, but then
Right.
also a because you have the Charles Melton stuff with the Leatherman, and then the Leatherman coming into the Sophie Thatcher stuff. Um, like it's sort of the violence of that other section bleeding into this other section, but there's also like one of the most interesting to me like directed scenes in the film is when uh the Havana and Sophie are having their sort of verbal
Hmm.
argument, and there
Mhm.
is this sort of this violence of words, and this
Yeah,
violence that is sort of
and
this tense this
threatening physical
threatening, but
violence.
it
Yeah,
gets there, but like there's
yeah.
almost there is this like violent tension in this movie that exists when there is no blood. Like there's like kind of like there's a lot of scenes in the movie that have no violence, but there is like a violentness to the scene. And when there's this really great shot where like Sophie is like pushing her. She's pushing Havana like and then Havana starts like, and they don't touch, I don't think, for a bit, but like she's just talking and they're just walking back. And so I don't know, there's like I think has a lot of ideas like that, sort of the idea of how about the violence, but I'm not sure like
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to sort of be like this is the one thing. But I think like of course like there is definitely something about this sort of like there is something about relationships
Yeah.
and sort of relationships in terms of like family, because there's like there is this you have Johnny Thunders, the dad, and you have his daughter Elle, and then Dominique, who is like the stepmother, but she's also like the friend, and there's
Best
like this
friend.
weird
Yeah.
like there's this really weird, it's very interesting in like their like sort of like weird
A
sort of
buried love,
right
like, Yes.
that's a big part of this movie, is like this like kind of twisted relationship and this I don't
It's
know.
like
So
an incest. It's like it's a strange incestuous like lesbianism going on in the
yeah,
movie
yeah, yeah,
that I
yeah.
don't think you should just ignore because it's so
Right. It's not
specific,
just it's
right?
not again, that's what I'm saying, like, it is there's a lot of, like, very specific stuff that, I don't know what the overall, like, where it's getting at, but there is a lot to sort
Yeah.
of think about,
I
in terms of that.
There's
I no, you got it.
Oh, I was just gonna say I wanted to point out as like another it's a small wrinkle here, I'll be quick, is that the movie, right? It's NWR all around, right? It's like he's directed
Yeah.
Mhm.
it, he's the sole director, sole producer, it's story by, but he has a co-writer. And the co-writer is SD Giordani, who has like no credits, doesn't have a Wikipedia page, right? But
Interesting.
they on their IMDb, right? All of the stuff that they are credited in is like queer media, like I Love Dicks
Oh,
and like TV shows about, like some like with like a wrinkle of queerness in them. And I think that it is, I don't know how to cross the T's because I don't know enough about this person, but I think that it's when you look at the credits of Her Private Hell, it sticks out. And when you like dig a little more, that sticks out again, where it's like, what, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Where
Yeah.
you're thinking that
Refn get it.
like Refn like wanted somebody specifically like to depict those themes that wasn't himself,
Well, that's the thing. I think that
like
Refn
input from somebody who would,
he has
have
all
a
these
better grasp.
concepts. He has all these
Yeah.
concepts, but he doesn't, he's like a older cis white man. He doesn't have the
Yeah.
experience, right?
It's a very smart, like people like underestimate how much that's like, I think that's where a lot of like writers go wrong, even is like I talked a lot about Euphoria, and like how like the big Sam Levinson problem on Euphoria, or really in anything Sam Levinson makes, is that like, he doesn't like want other writers in the room, and he's writing about all these groups of people that he doesn't understand, and it's like
Right.
it's a really hard thing to do. I remember like I was writing a script in college that was like not even really that like much of a story. Like it was a coming of age story about a young girl, and I was like, okay, I've never been a young girl coming of age, right? So
Right.
I texted like a long list of my friends, and I was like, can I ask you all these questions about
Mhm.
this thing so that I could understand this better? And it's like,
Right.
and then when I was writing the script, I was like, and I sent it to those friends, they were like, oh yeah, that's like a real, like that's a real character, like that's like a real relatable character. And I was like,
Yeah.
it's not that hard for people to do that. Most people
I
wouldn't
think it's
do
an
that,
ego thing. It's like an ego
yeah,
thing, right?
yeah,
It's
it's
like
like, I'm gonna do this
I'm a
myself. So
I'm
I
a
think
great
like,
writer. I can do anything.
yeah, and so from reference perspective, I'm like, I like that's something really worth applauding if that is what happened, because
Right.
that's
That
just
seems
like
yeah.
that's like not something that most writers would do. But it's like that is the difference between like depicting something authentically and not, is like knowing when you don't know
Right.
better. Like,
Right.
so I think that's a good thing to bring up. The thing I was gonna say earlier was like, when you were talking about violence, I do think that like, I guess I joke that like the movie's just about hot people, and like it kind of is, but also like the idea that stood out to me the most while I was watching the movie is the violence, because like I haven't seen the thing that I wished going into this movie is that I had watched more of his movies before watching this one, and I've only ever
Mhm.
seen Drive, which like I know that most of the movies that he's made since Drive are just like to piss off people who like Drive, right? So it's like, but I haven't seen those movies,
Yeah.
and I don't really know much about like what Refn does well that everybody loves, aside from like hearing other people describe it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Drive has some of this, but like violence specifically, from my understanding, is like something that he's really interested in. And like in this movie, there's that shot where it's like them having sex, and then like the person gets murdered behind them on like the other side of the window, and like the blood's on.
Unreal image.
Yeah. And
Right?
so
It's
like
insane.
I do like, just as like like you were saying, like I like this guy. I think like to me, I'm so interested to watch his other stuff, because that's something that I like about him that stands out, which is that like I don't like we're watching like an era of like modern horror where it's like everything's very like gore heavy. Like people want, like that's how scares are like created a lot, is like how
Right.
much like violence can I show on screen. And it's like that's cool and all, and I like violence. Like I want to watch people, be like brutally dismantled on screen. Like that's a thing I'm
Yeah.
interested in. But I think that like a lot of those directors are like, how do I, like how do I make this gross and disturbing? And Refn is like, how do I make violence like like beautiful and like
Right.
sexual
I
even?
I I
And that
you
to me is
yeah.
like so cool. I've been I texted our friend of the pod, Devin, today,
Yeah.
because Devin really likes this book, that because he really likes it, I started reading it the past week. This book called The Sluts by Dennis Cooper.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I texted Devin today because I'm like towards the end of the book now, and I'm like, dude, this is like just the most engaging thing that I have read in so long. I can't put it down. I'm trying to like separate readings because I want to read each section on its own, but like every time I read a section, I'm like, dude, I just want to finish this whole book. Like it's so addicting to read, and so much of the book is just describing like just the most disturbing, like awful violence, but all of it is sexual. It's like it's these
Right.
people who are like, um they're they're buying the services of gay prostitutes,
Yeah.
and all of these people are like degenerates. Like all of these people are either like pedophiles, or they're like extremely turned on by the idea of like having sex with like raping somebody and then killing them, and they're like all discussing it on this forum, and it's just like, they're it's really really intense, and it's so captivating where you're like, dude, I like getting in the world of like these people like being so into that, and they're like, oh yeah, it's so hot that I want to like like cut a guy's dick off and like kill him. And it's like,
Mhm.
I don't like, I'm fascinated by it, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, I don't like, most people, like nobody's making a movie like that. Like everybody is like, I'm gonna make a
Right.
movie that's gross because I want you to like feel gross. And this guy is like, what if
Yes.
what if like blood is like erotic, and what if like
Mhm, mhm,
hurting
mhm.
people is like hot? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
I
That's fucking cool. Like,
I think, like, a big thing that you're getting at with sort of the violence in a lot of things is where, like, I think even if we're not able to fully understand what the sort of intention is, it is very clear that it's just not violent to be violent. It's like there's more there. There is sort of like there is a thematic sort of reasoning for the violence, and a sort of idea about the violence more than just it being violent. And I
yeah,
think it's like he does a lot of violent stuff in his movies, but I also think like a big issue I have with a lot of this like sort of violent schlock stuff is like it's the form of the violence is not ever really a point where it's more of like we just set the camera up here, whatever, fucking who gives a shit, and let's do some crazy shit. Where like you guys mentioned that beautiful shot of the blood splattering, but even I just think like there's a great scene which is very, I mean, this is Hitchcock, this is De Palma, this is Refn, like this is the obvious sort of rear window body double sort of, but it's very giallo as well, of this idea of uh seeing something seeing something happen, and then okay, now what the fuck, what do you do with that, what do you do with that piece of information? There's this really beautiful scene where you have two of the girls, and you're seeing them through like the glass, and they're sort of a little distorted there, and then they're
Oh
looking
yeah.
across to the other building, and this sort of woman that you can't really totally make out gets murdered. And I mean, this is classic cinema right here. This is very obviously like there's a lineage to this stuff. And her, but I love about this movie too is the specifically the Leatherman. His kills are so specific and thought out. Where the like the chest bursting stuff, it's like
Yeah.
it's not very like it's violent, but it's also like it's like when you watch it, I'm like you're like whoa, that's like that is I you never I've not seen that in another movie where this is like that's his move. He's got like a signature move where he's like
yeah,
ripping them open. But also I think with the Melton stuff, it's like it's very well photographed and
Well,
like
it's very well directed
incredibly
action sequences.
Yeah.
well
We just
directed
talked
action
about
sequences.
the Odyssey. Not gonna say like not comparing the movies directly, but I'm saying like the action sequences with Charles Melton are much
Yes.
uh
Yeah.
better directed, more well
Yeah. Well, the
directed.
action in the Odyssey is just not well directed. Like
Well, so
that's
Yeah,
that's like the
and
it's just
argument
like
you can
like
applaud
Christopher
from
Nolan, his one
before.
of the strengths
Yeah.
is not being an action
I
director.
will
Refn
say,
could make fucking John Wick if he cared about
oh,
shit
I
like that.
mean, like in
Yeah.
his sleep.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
I
Like,
I did have this thought. If we're gonna talk about the Odyssey for a second, I
yeah.
did have this thought when watching the movie, and I came to this realization that at this point in my movie watching life, I do prefer a more. There are movies that to me, like, I think like the direction is more. I don't know if showy is the right term, but there's movies where like I'm watching it and like I'm like I'm in a conversation. I'm in a dialogue with the cutting. I'm in a dialogue with the blocking, and I'm thinking about all these moving pieces where there are films where to me I think they, and maybe this is not an intentional thought, but they feel as if like they almost don't want you to think about it as a movie, where it's like to me the Odyssey, and I like this movie a lot, but I find like it's like it is sort of this overwhelming emotional ride
Yes.
where it doesn't
A
want you to
great
think
one.
about it doesn't want you to think about the blocking of the movie. It never wants you to be like this is blocked in a way where
Yeah, but I would push back, and like what you're saying is like you're like talking about all these moving pieces, and
yeah.
I think it's true that when you watch the Odyssey, there are a lot of scenes where you're thinking like, how did they do like here's this and that, and it's like all these. I mean, Doug talked about it on the episode last week. He was like, how did all these things come together perfectly? Like, how did they manage to like do this and pull it off? And it's like I think there
No,
are a
that
lot of
I don't
scenes in
think
the
that's the
Odyssey
same.
where that's
I don't think that's the
true.
same thing I'm saying. I don't think I'm saying
There
that.
is a
I
point that Owen's
Sure.
making that I think is fair that people have been making forever about the Hollywood films, right? Where it's a Hollywood movie doesn't want you to think about watching the movie; they want you to be entertained and forget yourself
Right.
for a
Sure.
moment.
I'm not saying like I wasn't like, oh, how did they do this like big ass like there's things in that movie that are technically impressive and they're
You
like
just want like the intention on screen.
no, I guess like to me, I was watching Our Hospitality earlier, and
Yeah.
I love, and like when I'm thinking about the movies and I'm making movies and stuff, I'm like I think uh I'm very much like I think when this movie I'm like, okay, we have this shot, and what we're it kind of gets at what we are talking about earlier, where it was like there it gives you so much time to think. Where it's like there's
Mhm.
this shot where it's like it's a character in the middle, it's a character on the side, and it's a character on the side, and we're doing the zoom, and it's like it's staged in this way that, and then there's and like I think that the movements and everything, it to me I'm watching it and I am like sort of thinking about it's not like how do they do this, it's more of like I'm just sort of aware of the
Them
direction
doing it.
and the editing
Yeah.
and the where
Sure.
it's the there's almost this
I
artificialness
get what
of
you're
it
saying. Yeah.
where I think like there are movies where I'm just like I'm just following the narrative, and I find like those movies where it's like the only thing I'm getting at this is the narrative sort of, it's like it can be very entertaining and fun, but I think especially on current or other watches, like there are movies like with this movie which even if it's like to me it's like sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's like whatever, I could watch this movie so many times because I think I'm always in an active conversation with the directing, the literal directing. I think like
Yeah.
I'm always sort of being like, okay, now this happens and it's sort of this sort of this musical sort of arrangement, where I think there are definitely films where it's like it's I'm just not having that conversation with it. I think at most with it to talk about the Odyssey, I think at most I found it was more so I was thinking about the cutting of the film.
Well, okay, this is
But
what I
I
was gonna
think
get at to defend the Odyssey. Yeah.
with this film, I don't even think it was positive or negative. I think it almost is sometimes it's like a neutral dialogue where it is like you're just sort of taking it in and you're thinking about the cutting and you're thinking about the blocking. Where I found I I think more often than not, to me, dialogue can often be a bad it's like a bad dialogue where I'm like, "Oh, well, this is like" it's making me think about it in a way where it's like a negative thing. Um, but I think the strength of this movie is I have to think about how I feel about this. Like, it's not a, "Oh, immediately this camera angle is it or this edit or this thing is bad or even good." It's just sort of this like, "Ooh, that's interesting," and he that's a choice, and I'm sort of I have to sort of have figure out how I feel about it. Um, and so I think to me that's sort of at this point sort of how I engage with stuff, and I find my enjoyment comes out of the trying to figure it out, trying to understand how I sort of
Right.
feel about what they're doing. Whereas some movies,
Like there's
it's
a lot more
less of
here
a
for you to figure out and
there's a
like
lot
pick
more here
apart
to
the
for me to
choices than
really
there
chew
is
on.
in something like The Odyssey, where you're
Yes,
just
but I
like
think the
you
Odyssey
don't even have
is
I
anything
think
to
that's
figure out.
that's fair.
I think the Odyssey is probably easier to watch because it's just very like
Certainly,
boom, 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 boom,
obviously,
entertaining. So
yes.
like they're different. It's just different. Like no, but I am like I think like it's just like a different.
Yeah,
You
no,
know what
I
I'm
get what you're
saying?
saying.
Is like
It's a Christopher Nolan movie. Even like I see whenever people post clips of Oppenheimer and it's like the dialogue, I'm like, bro, this is kind of bad, bro. But I understand like it's out of context and you're not supposed to focus on the fucking dialogue when you're watching
yeah,
it.
and
But
I
I will
think
say though about the Odyssey, it's a just slight pushback, but it's not
mhm,
really even arguing with what you're saying. I would say I think the Odyssey, it, more so Oppenheimer, but still the Odyssey. It's like it's calling your attention to the editing. You know, it's
oh
calling your
yeah,
attention to the. It's not quite. It's not like Eisenstein where like that's the whole thing, right? About but it is. It's like like we're cutting very quickly from like
right.
very different images, right? Um,
Oh, of course. I think that's fair. And I think like I am only really using the Odyssey as an example because it's the last thing I saw in theaters that was
yeah,
not Her Private Hell,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's so
Yeah.
fresh in the mind. And they're definitely movies that like it's like I do like
There
the
are
movie as
definitely
well.
movies.
But I think the difference would be like specifically comparing the two would be like I think with the Odyssey it's like mainly an editing thing,
mhm.
where here it's like
An
a
everything thing.
it's a,
It's
it's
everything.
really kind of is an
No, like
everything thing.
truly, I understand. I agree with you. Every single decision, and this is why I think this movie is so good. This is why I think this movie is so unbelievable. Everything you're watching the movie, and every single moment, like thing that happens in the movie, you're like, huh? Like you're like, whoa.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
that's what I was
Yeah.
getting at, where I was like, I wish this shit was 6 hours long because that's so hypnotic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
Movies like this, with B plots, right? Where we set up this A plot and you're kind of getting into it, and then it cuts to a B plot totally unrelated, right? Movies like this happen. It's like a pretty common structure for a film. I don't know how often it is where I'm like, bro, I want so much more of both of them. Where it cuts away
right,
and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I want more of. I want this. They both to keep going
yeah.
on. I'm like, I want 3 hours of both.
I think like definitely like I know you guys started the TV stuff, but like I think I definitely would like to dive into that, and I think like a big reason why to me as someone who doesn't watch too much TV, like I think like what I'm sort of getting at as well is like there are like a Marvel movie, for example, like or something like I don't know. I'm kind of just saying I'm sort of struggling to get a perfect example, but like there are films that are shot, cut, blocked in a way that you can kind of predict how the movie not how the movie will end, but how the movie will be shot, cut, and whatever for the rest of the movie. Where there are also there's films where it's like shots will appear, cuts will happen, direction will happen. Oh, Doug died. There
Yeah.
there are
Doug
moments in films
accidentally unplugged his internet.
where there are moments in films where they generally like kind of creep up on you in a way where and then there are certain films where it's like it's pretty much there's a sort of there's a standard that they're meeting and then they're sort of continuing. There's a consistency throughout. And not to say that like this film doesn't feel uh like it all feels of its world and of its movie, but like you're writing like kind of what Doug was saying, the B plot A plot thing. It's like you're following this sort of the girls, and then all of a sudden you got Private K here and all this like that stuff, and it's like, oh, this is almost a totally, it's like a different movie in the same movie, that
Yeah.
it feels a part of it, but it's also
Yeah.
you don't know what's about to fucking happen. And then he walks in,
Right.
there's a sumo wrestler guy, and
There
it's like,
there is
oh,
a lot of
I
like
don't know what's about to fucking happen. I don't know what the fuck's about to happen.
right. From my viewing of Too Old to Die Young as well, which like because you're talking about wanting to get into the TV stuff, and like from that first episode, and then I was looking at like welcome back, Doug. I was looking at the episode titles,
Yeah.
and the episode titles are almost titled like each episode is like a different story. Like I know there's like like the characters are
Right.
recurring, but it's like the episode titles are all like their own thing. And already in the first episode, there's so many like, oh, this is just like a whole different world that he's gonna explore. And I think it's like some like in this movie, it's just like
Right.
two of those, but like in the
Yeah.
show, it seems like he's just doing it with a bunch of different like creating worlds for like all of these characters
Yeah.
and like that it's going to go to. It's interesting. Because I agree with you guys. Like especially the Charles Melton stuff, I think was like not that much of the movie ultimately. And I was like, I would have watched an entire movie about that, which I guess like he has a lot of movies that are
Right.
similar to an
Like,
entire
you
movie
would really
about the
like
Charles Melton
Only
character.
God
But
Forgives
Only
is
God
kind of
Forgives,
like,
yeah.
it's like very
I
similar.
almost watched it today before this podcast.
Right.
But
It's
It-
a lot of first person. It's like you're inside of Ryan Gosling's head, looking at your hands, contemplating about like the
yeah,
violence that
it's
they
so kind of.
inflict.
I know I need to rewatch it because I haven't
Yeah.
seen it in so long. But like, oh, Ryan
yeah, and
Gosling,
I mentioned this
we
as
sort
well
of
to
rest
you
in
guys.
peace, my friend.
I got the
The Pusher?
trilogy on 4K because it was like on sale somewhere that I was at like a flea market or something, and it was like the whole trilogy was on sale for like $5, and I was like, "Fuck
I'm
it,
interested
yeah."
in those Mads films because they're probably pretty different.
Yeah, well,
I
but
would assume so.
I think like a lot of the ideas are probably
Sure.
like very you know, like the violence, and also like I think something like this Charles Melton character, if I had to guess, maybe somebody could correct me in the comments, if I had to guess, something like this Charles Melton character is probably pretty present in like what's happening in the Pusher movies.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to watch like some of the early stuff as well. Even like Valhalla
Yeah.
Rising, which is like a different Mads
Interesting
one.
film. I haven't
yeah.
seen these in a long time.
Yeah.
So
But no, yeah,
don't
you're right.
really-
I did want to bring up because we haven't even like exactly talked about it that much. There are a lot of actors who we talk about on this podcast pretty often. What did you
Oh,
guys think
baby.
Beautiful people.
about the performances?
Some of the most beautiful people in the
baby.
world.
Yeah, because these are, you know, Charles Melton and Sophie Thatcher specifically. I guess maybe even Havana Rose Lou, but specifically those two, like we bring up on the podcast a lot.
Every
We've
week.
talked about getting Sophie Thatcher in a good movie. We, you know,
Yes.
off pod, we started a discussion about getting Charles Melton in more movies.
Yeah, I tweeted something
yeah,
out,
I guess
which
just,
is
like, what did you guys
kind
think?
of a very it's like the most obvious, of course, this has happened, but it's very funny that it is true that notably I think it's like it is a widely, like, this is a very like sort of tame opinion of Sophie Thatcher not being in any great movies, and
People really like Companion at the very least. But yeah.
sure, but
Yeah,
it is very funny to me that, and I think I would assume both of you agree, that her best movie, Her Private Hell, is her. I mean, we started the podcast talking about this like average rating. It's her lowest rated movie on Letterboxd,
Yeah.
and she's in like some real stinkers. Like you said, Companion. Like I think Companion's really bad, but Maxine, it like
Right.
that's like I think a lot of people think that's like a
yeah.
complete
None of us
failure,
liked Heretic
a complete
either, right?
failure
Or,
of a
like,
movie.
not liked it
Heretics,
that
like
much.
not kind of like whatever.
I thought it was fine, but
It's
like,
fine, but like it's just, I don't know. I think it's kind of amusing that it is. But I think I hope, and she seems to be like kind of. I think she'll be. I hope she continues to work with cool people like this, and she seems to like be kind of smart about it and sort of said something
It's
along
gonna
the
be in
lines
the
of
Jennifer Kent movie. Yeah.
right, but she said something along the lines of like I think it's cool that it's like sort of divisive, and like that means like that we really like. I forget which I'm not gonna sort of paraphrase for her, but like, she said something along the lines
no,
of
I saw that
sort of
quote.
pro
Yeah,
it being
I'm
divisive and
interested
thinking
in that.
it's sort of cool, and I think she's got like she's always like liking like sort of like obscure or just old movie like Instagram stuff, and like she seems cool taste. And it's sort of it's the same sort of thing that happened with sort of Jenna Ortega, that conversation about like you have this young actress who clearly cares about the medium and its history, but then is winding up in the, and I think it's just kind of the nature of the industry at this point, where it's like you kind of get the jobs that you get, and you can only pick the best out of the group that you've got there, and also like you want to be in things people see, but that can lead to you to ending up in like some sort of not so great movies. And I think that what we were talking about with Charles Melton earlier is like this sort of in this movie, it's very clear to me that he is a action
Like movie
star
star.
and like
Yeah.
a movie star, and he on Letterboxd he is not top billed on anything. Like he just doesn't have a movie that he's
Yeah.
top billed on,
Yeah.
which it's
Bro, he
kind
would
of
be
crazy
so
because it
good.
does feel like he's a pretty popular name.
James,
sure.
he'd be a perfect James Bond if he wasn't American.
No, yeah.
Right. No, I mean
They should have just given him the Oscar for May December,
there
and then he
was
would have gotten like 10 times the amount
well,
of
what you know what I just
opportunities.
thought about as you said that. I assume this is going to be in the news, but maybe even not. But there's this like thing about the new Bourne movie. There's a Bourne movie, and the
Oh
idea
yeah.
is
It's
like
not in the
okay,
news.
so they're going to do this Edward Berger Jason Bourne movie, and the idea I think is going to be that like Zendaya is going to be like
Jason Bourne.
well, it's like they're setting her up to be the future of it. So,
Okay.
but like I just thought of like hasn't Zendaya been enough? Hasn't she been the future of enough things? Like, couldn't like Charles Melton be the future of Bourne? And like it's basically
Sure.
like it's like
Sure.
American Bond. Like it's like but I think like you could. I mean, like we brought up John Wick. Like I think like you can just kind of make these things, no one's stopping you. And I
But then
hope
like John Wick is such a something like the thing about John Wick, right? Or not even that movie specifically,
you,
but like wanting to be the next John Wick or something
yeah.
is like it's inherently really risky as like an actor, right?
And
'Cause, like
what
you're
way?
basically signing on for something that like is basically a B movie, and you're like,
Sure.
am I gonna be the guy that's like the lead in a B action movie, hoping that it does well? Like
Sure.
I'm
I
not
just
Jason
think I
Statham.
think the big thing is like yeah. Well, I kind of did think of Jason Statham in terms of like, yeah, I think most action movies kind of have that. But like, what's her name? What was the actress that was in the John Wick spin-off thing? The like,
Oh, Ana de
yeah,
Armas.
like Ana de
Yes, yeah.
Armas signed on to be like girl John
Ballerina.
Wick, like the ballerina, and it's like
Yes.
I feel like if Ana de Armas is signed on for ballerina, I think
Ana de
Charles
Armas
Melton,
much more famous than anybody involved in her private
right?
hell
Like I think
before
Yeah.
Charles
Ballerina,
Melton
but
totally
yes.
could do like
Um,
a sort of fancy beekeeper.
no,
Yeah.
bro, Charles Melton Beekeeper kind of movie, literally,
I mean,
bro, obviously sounded good.
yeah,
Yeah.
but there is other people in this movie.
Well, your
Yeah.
famous crush, Hamana Rose Liu, somebody that you were very
She's
normal about for a
incredible
long
in this
time.
movie. I
She's
think
very
she's
good in this
really
movie.
good in
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
movie. And I feel vindicated. I feel
You
vindicated
feel
for
vindicated for having a physical attraction to her.
well, I feel vindicated for being like I think she's a good actress and
Yeah.
she's very good in this movie. Well, because like I was like, oh,
Right.
she's really good in bottoms, but it's like okay, that could have been like a thing where like she was good in bottoms and then she like never is in a good movie, you know.
Yeah.
But I think she's
Yeah.
really good in this movie.
Well, you didn't even watch Tuner for her.
No,
Or
You gotta watch Tuner.
Afraid AI or whatever.
nope,
AI
no, I didn't
Afraid.
watch. I've seen. This is the second movie I've seen her in.
Yeah.
And she's really good. In this movie, Diego Calva, another person who's like, I'm like, when I see him,
That's my go.
when I
That's
see
my
him,
go.
I see him, he's like, oh, he's amazing. And then like, then it seemed like the industry did not think that way. It felt
No,
like
but it's funny. Diego Calva is so amazing in Babylon. It's like a miracle.
No,
It's like
yeah,
the
it's
stars
actually like
align
kind of
for him
crazy.
and how good
It's
he
like
is in
they found
Babylon.
like the most perfect guy ever, and then they were just like, "What if we never put him in a movie again?"
right.
Right.
But,
And I'm
He was
watching
like,
this
what if we
movie.
had a genius fucking stroke of casting and
No,
just
truly, like the stars align, like
yeah,
perfect performance in Babylon. And I'm watching this movie, and he shows up, and I'm like, oh, this is bizarre. This is weird as fuck.
bro, when the way he says Johnny Thunders is like it's so perfect. Like no one, yeah, his filmography is crazy. He is in that Club Kid movie that like got a lot of love, and also he is in this very popular movie, the Possession remake. People love to talk about that
right.
movie. There's like a photo of him on set where he
Wait,
looks
Paul Theroux?
crazy. He looks crazy. Like he's almost unrecognizable. But yeah, I don't know. He's only I guess I felt like he was a little older. He's only 34.
That's
Hopefully
pretty
So great.
old,
Like it's
bro.
like, dude,
it's
how
not
old is Charles Melton?
35. Yeah.
Yeah, like
yeah, I think like I think he will I feel like there's more ahead for Diego. I
yeah,
think he's really
I
cool.
think so too.
It just felt like
I think
Babylon felt like such a moment. And it was like, oh, he's gonna like take because he's 34, but Babylon came out in 2022. So
yeah,
like, he was
yeah.
30.
I fear he's gonna end up in like just like a lot of TV shows. But
Yeah, I think that's Charles Melton's future too, bro. Just
I
gonna
hope
be in
not.
gonna be in a bunch of miniseries, gonna
I
be
hope
like
not.
a guy that just shows up and stuff.
It's just
No,
interesting
I
'cause
I actually do have faith that Charles Melton will
yeah.
not have
I
that
I
future.
think
I mean, he's Charles Melton. I think is like in terms of the standout performance in Her Private Hell, where you're like, this guy, why isn't this guy like running the whole world? You know what I mean? Like,
sure. I
yeah,
think specifically because it's like here's something that he can do really well. It's
yeah,
like almost like an audition tape for a big action movie. Where it's
exactly.
like
Well, like Sophie Thatcher is great in the movie, but it's also she's already very famous, and she just like
right.
she's gonna
Yeah,
get there,
but
right?
I do think like for her it is a step in a direction. And it is
Mhm.
like she's kind of yeah, she's famous in a way, but like she's also kind of famous in a way where like I think horror fame is different. And I think it is definitely like you can get sort of boxed in as like she's a horror actress. And I
She
think
has a
like
lot of Instagram followers. I don't know.
yeah. How many
that
Instagram
that doesn't
followers
mean
does
anything. That
Charles
doesn't
Melton
that
have?
doesn't
I guess he doesn't have an Instagram, does he?
Instagram followers is not like it does mean something, but like also like I do think like she is very I guess I mean this is like this movie does have horror stuff, but like I'm interested to see her do things that aren't horror because it's she's talked about that a lot, and I think like it's kind of one of those things where like you're in one horror movie and then like oh we should get the horror girl to be in the horror movie and then
Oh,
it sort of
whoa.
dominoes.
Charles Melton has way more
A
Instagram
lot. I was
followers
gonna say. I was gonna
than
guess that
Sophie
he would.
Thatcher.
I was gonna
He
guess
has
that he would.
way more
Because you guys
Instagram
forget.
followers.
People forget, dude. Like honestly, I forgot. Like
I
Charles
did forget.
Melton is of Riverdale.
Riverdale,
Like,
Riverdale, yeah.
I
you almost
forgot he
like
was. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a Riverdale
Riverdale on
alum,
play,
dude.
man.
Those
Riverdale on
people
play.
that's
are
crazy.
famous.
That's
Like
great.
that's
'Cause
a
when I think
big
about Sophie
show.
Thatcher's fame, I know she's on Yellow Jackets, but I'm like, she's like an influencer basically, because of how like no, because her Instagram is so present. She posts on there constantly, bro. She's always posted on Instagram. Charles Melton has like 5x the amount of followers she has.
Yeah,
It's
no,
crazy.
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. Like the Riverdale people, like Riverdale is also like in comparison to something like Yellow Jackets, just like a massive show. Or it was, I guess it ended, but yeah, the Riverdale alum have like a real. But the thing is like he's like the guy from that
It-
cast. He's like like those people are just going to keep
Right.
doing TV and like movies that nobody watches.
Right, like the
Sure.
Jimmy Stewart,
Like the Jimmy
biopic.
Stewart biopic.
Yeah,
That's
the
what I'm
Jimmy
saying. Like
Stewart
nobody's gonna
biopic.
watch that movie. Like,
Uh,
I mean, nobody's really watching Her Private Hell either. But Charles Melton is just like kind of by far going to be the most successful person.
Charles
from
Melton was in Todd
that
Haynes'
major
movie.
show.
Well, Charles Melton will for sure have the most critics awards by far compared to the rest of the cast of
Sure.
Riverdale combined.
Yeah,
No, seriously, like yeah.
and his bank account.
But
gonna
is
be
it not
crazy.
also just like opportunity. I actually, you know what? I guess I would say Camila Mendes is gonna be
Yeah.
She's
like,
already kind of a star,
She was
yeah.
in
yeah,
He-Man.
yeah. I guess she could be more successful just in terms of
But she's not gonna get as
audience
many
reach.
critics awards, which is,
No, sure, but
yeah.
like she could be like a real like star, like in big. I mean, she already wasn't a big project this year. I guess it wasn't like a huge success, but
We've talked a lot
um,
about the actors. I just like very quickly on the acting in the movie. Uh, uh, Very interesting. Obviously, like Sophie Thatcher was directed to be very bored. She gives kind of like a boring, like a performance of
Interesting.
her character being bored.
Yeah.
Obviously, Refn was like directing her to do that. I think Refn is a very great director. He got exactly what he wanted. A lot of it reminds. Okay, trigger warning
Yeah.
here
Oh,
for
okay.
trigger warning. This movie's so like so Lynchian.
Oh,
Like no,
brother.
trigger warning,
genuinely.
trigger warning.
Fuck.
Like no, like I'm watching it and I'm like, bro, this is so The
Didn't
Return. This is so
didn't
Twin
Joe
Peaks.
didn't Joe say that too?
Uh, yeah, Joe says
Well,
Joe
it was
calls
funny
everything.
because I was like, I kind of assumed Joe wouldn't like it, and then he said something like that, and I was like, oh, I could see it now. I could see how someone like really into David Lynch could find their
Yeah,
way into this.
The performance style specifically, I'm like a lot. This is like how
Wait,
people
wait.
like talk in the Return, and which is another
yeah,
TV show, another miniseries that's very long. But it's like this like standing around, just like saying, oh, there he is.
there he is.
Just on my
Yeah,
floor.
but I just wanted to get that out of my system because I'm watching the movie and I'm like, bro, this is
Yeah,
Lynch.
yeah.
Like,
And
yeah.
while we're on the subject of bringing things up before we wrap up the conversation, we haven't talked once about the score.
Oh, right, unbelievable.
Pino.
The best
Pino.
score of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I was listening to the score, which I don't do very often, but I did for the Odyssey, and I was listening to the score today, and I was just like, bro, the themes in this are so romantic. It's so classical and sweeping, and it's like, I can't believe it, bro. I can't believe it. I'm like, and
Mm.
the way that the score is utilized in the movie is awesome. Where it's like, it's so amazing. People sitting around not saying anything, and then the loud ass like
Yeah.
romantic theme just like jumps in. It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think like something like this movie does a lot of stuff that just like doesn't really no one else is doing right now because it's pulling from older films and doing stuff that this type of score, like the type of music that is being presented, like is just not. I mean, Pino is from that '80s era, like
Pino's
of
also like retired. He hasn't done a
he's
real movie in
84.
yeah.
But like I mean, he's a De Palma like sort of alum there. Uh, so like he's that the type of movies that De Palma was making, um, just like aren't really like it's very specific style.
Mhm.
And we've sort of been for better or worse moved on into a new style and specifically like the horror movie, right? I think like this movie is very interesting because there are horror movies that come out now that are inspired by Argento, that are inspired by De Palma, but this movie feels, of course, obviously inspired, but it feels of that world. Where some of these other horror movies, they feel like 2026 movies inspired by De Palma and Argento. Or this movie feels like a movie that like is more in line with what those films were actually kind of. I feel like I'm not fully sort of getting that
No, no,
point
no, no, no.
across.
It's like
right.
it's not like this movie doesn't feel like for like something like what's an example? Like the James Wan movie,
Malignant,
Malignant.
Malignant, right? Or like Malignant has like it has like giallo kind of like stuff in it,
right?
right? It's not. This isn't like a like it's taking inspiration from giallo movies. It's not like Refn is like, oh, I love giallo movies. Like I kind of want to do a spin on giallo movie. It's like Refn is making a giallo. This is
Right.
like what a giallo would be if Refn made it. Like
It completely lacks like modern sort of sensibilities,
Yeah,
which is difficult to do because it is 2026 and it's sort of
yeah,
like hard to make a movie that feels in a way out of time, where like I think the technology of these sort of digital worlds is very current, but everything else about the movie, I mean, for the most part, feels of an older time, of out of time. I immediately it came to me of this. There's this sort of wonderful scene where the character Hunter. I was like, oh, I'm gonna love this movie. When she's like, she walks into Elle's house and she's like taking selfies and she's like taking
Yeah.
photos of herself, and I immediately thought of that as like such a modern. Um, it's a comedic observation about the current times, and that there's a little bit of conversation about being relatable and this sort of analytics and stuff like that. So it definitely is a movie that was made in 2026, but outside of a few things like that, it is a film that is it feels like almost removed from sort of the rest of the. He was like the kids are playing over there, and Refn is over
Yeah.
here, kind of sort of not giving a fuck about what everyone else is doing and making his own work
Right.
as if he like lives in a cave, totally sort of
Yeah.
unaware of what other horror filmmakers specifically are doing. And I think the word I keep going back to when thinking about this movie is refreshing. And there's a refreshingness to the differences that it just sort of separates itself from like any other movie that is going to come out. I literally wrote in my review
Yeah.
like probably till his next movie. Like it is so
Yeah. I,
singular in a way where it's like no one else is going to sort of do this and be as singular as this, and just till he makes another one.
Yeah, I don't know if it was you that said this or if I saw like some just like it somewhere randomly online, but I saw someone post somewhere about how like if this like wasn't a new movie and it came out like 50 years ago, people would just like it. And I was like,
Yeah, so
it's a funny thought.
I wrote something about. I had this thought when I watched it where I was thinking about two things. I was thinking about it coming out now in theaters, and I was also thinking about it being in English. And I was thinking about the
Right. Yeah,
movie, and
yeah.
I was thinking about Argento, and I was thinking about the way that people engage with movies. And like I was just watching this movie, and I was like, this doesn't feel. I just was imagining like sort of like Tenebrae or something or
Mhm.
Phenomena, and just if those movies were just released now, they're like, oh, this is the new movie with blah 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 blah. Like, how would the response be? Um, and I just feel like there's a the general audience generally engages with the movies that are newer differently, and movies that are in English differently. Where like the form and the narrative, even if they were the same, uh, I think they just come at them differently. At least that's how I was feeling about like I think we talked about we opened the show a little bit with like the sort of reception of the film, and I think obviously not everybody, and I think this is I'm only sort of talking about hypothetical small groups of people, but I do think like there are situations and circumstances that affect how people view things and sort of what criteria people are viewing things on. And I think specifically performances. I think because this sort of weird specific style is being applied to English, where it's like that is their sort of that is how they're used to hearing. Because Kevin, you said something along the lines of like when we're doing our films, it's like it's still how people talk. And
Yeah.
I think if because it's English, they're more sort of attuned to well, that's not how people talk. But if it's in
Right.
French or
Yeah,
whatever Italian or
that's true of
something,
like a lot of
they're
movies.
not
Yeah, it's
going
like
to they're
you
going to be like, oh well, that's just how Italians may talk, like, or something. I don't
right,
know,
right,
the
right.
lines of like their ear is just going to hear it differently.
Yeah, it was like I guess like the recent example I was thinking of is like when only Doug saw this movie, but when The Furious was in theaters a couple weeks ago, it's like
Right.
the way that characters talk in The Furious and like the way that like
It's
emotion is
Doug.
expressed
Yeah.
by a
Yeah.
character, you're just like, oh, like that's so like you just accept it. There's like people in my theater who like probably don't watch a lot of movies and like they were laughing at like things where it's like that's probably
Sure.
not that funny actually. But like for the most part, I'm watching a movie like that and I'm like, yeah, I like this is normal. Like it's like
Mhm.
you're watching the movie and you're like, this is normal. Like that's how
Yeah.
the movie opens
you know,
up with this woman getting killed. Spoilers for the first 10 minutes of The Furious. And
yeah,
all of her dialogue is dubbed over in English.
yeah,
And that's just the only way you can watch the movie. And it is like uncanny and a little
Yeah.
strange,
yeah.
but it's like you're
And then you
watching a
just like
kung fu
accept it,
movie.
and you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is the, and then you're like, this movie rocks.
Is it
You
all
know,
the whole movie is dubbed or just that part?
Uh,
there's
uh,
some stuff that might not be, but for the most part, it seems like it's all dubbed. There's like certain scenes where you're like, oh, maybe they actually said, but like for the most
Yeah,
part,
well
I think
that
it's
I
all
mean
dubbed.
that is very Italian movie
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
Argento,
No, of course, but
Giallo, I mean
it's
classic.
yeah,
Which
but it's just
I
interesting. And the Furious might not even be the best example because it's dubbed. But I just mean like certain
right,
like you watch if you watch movie like international movies, depending on like
right.
what part of the world they're from, you're never like you know like if you're watching a different culture, you're never watching somebody act and be like, huh, this is so strange and
Right,
unusual. You're like, no, this is
right,
just like how people are in a different part of the world. Like you just like
right,
that's
right,
normal
right.
to you.
And this is how
Um,
people are in this mist-filled, like
yeah, exactly. In this
futuristic,
exactly.
world that's
It's like
literally
real
not our
world.
real
which
world.
I
Yeah.
do like. I made me think of the prequels as well as like I think like it's I think like it's fine to like if the idea of like in this like fantasy world people have like a style of performance that is not like the same as it is in like Goodwill Hunting. You know,
Right.
it's like it's
It's
like
fun
well,
that's funny that that's the example you
no, but
used,
like
but
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying, where it's
No,
like
sure, sure, sure,
it.
yeah.
I think
R
like
real
but it
movies are
also
real
I mean
people.
to continue this Odyssey thing. It on the other hand, it's like it's Nolan very clearly was like we're going to make them talk in American accents and
Like modern.
like we talked
Yeah.
about with Damon to tie it in with the Good Will Hunting thing. Like Damon is so good at like being like a normal, relatable guy that like is cracking jokes, and he does such a good job of like making Odysseus be a rootable character that like is like oh like this is just like a normal guy. Um, but on the other hand, like it also is a choice and like a, a a fitting thing to have this sort of this world with like this the performance in this movie fit the world perfectly. Like if they were just talk, I mean, it would be totally fine if they're talking normally, but it also makes complete sense why they wouldn't be, given the leather man and the mist and all this sort of
Yeah.
stuff going on.
Yeah,
Um,
some I mean, there's a scene where, and I think that especially in this where the performances are like pitch perfect are in the Charles Melton sections, where Charles Melton, he's like in Japan, like kind of like misty Tokyo
yeah.
after World War I or World War II or whatever, which also like has like probably plays in like these themes of ultraviolence a
Mhm.
little bit, right? And his like daughter is gone, and he walks into the doll shop for the first time, and and when he walks out, the detective is like, who was that? And the woman just goes, the saddest man she goes like,
And
the
that's my
saddest man
favorite
that's
line of
ever
the
lived.
movie.
It's
And
so
then
Yeah.
fucking
fuck, I
awesome.
I
Oh,
didn't cry, but like my tears melted up where I was like, oh my god. Like I was
right.
like, perfect line
Yeah.
delivery, perfect thing to say. Like
I will say like I think like in general the dialogue to me I was like oh like when the movie started I was like okay this is like so there's like a bit where like Sophie Thatcher is she's just removing her makeup and she's like oh
mhm,
like I'll be a minute I'm just like taking my face off and it's
yeah.
so like it's like okay like that's what she's doing but the dialogue is so simple and direct that it's like oh that like has like other meaning that like where it's like they just like say stuff where it's like the delivery creates so much it brings so much attention to stuff like that where it's like oh she's just taking her face off and then like it
Yeah.
leaves you with that and it's like oh okay interesting and it whereas like I think like if you just like
Well,
if
it's
it was
also like
performed differently it would be like oh like you just like don't even think about the line at all.
in the movie, she says like, "Oh, I'm just taking my face off." We have this shot of her looking in the mirror, and then she like pauses, and she's
Right,
still looking in the
right,
mirror, and it doesn't cut away for the next scene. And,
exactly.
and it's yeah,
Where it does it cut it. I think like yeah, there's a world where like they perform the same way and it's the same script, but because of the
yeah,
editing, you're not you're not left thinking about that line. And it does go back to that the rhythm stuff again, where like the the dialogue is delivered in that way where the character is thinking about something, but because of the line delivered before it, you're almost thinking with them. You're having this sort of like symbiotic like thinking moment
Right.
going on where like you are thinking about and the character is thinking and you are sort of projecting your thinking onto that character um and also like it's like the character is like extremely beautiful and they're photographed in like this really beautiful way and it's like the score is kicking in and it's you're like floating and it's I mean it's
Yeah.
quite special.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say before we?
Charles Melton is ripped and there's crazy shots of his back in this movie.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
abs are crazy.
It's-
Also, his abs are, and
Yeah.
he's
they're like
so hot.
the cops
Didn't
are
he
like
also have a quote where he like thanked Refn for being like, I've never like, like I've never looked this good in a movie, like I've never been
Mhm.
shot like this
Yeah,
before.
no,
Yeah.
it's so funny that the cops are like, take his shirt off and it beat this like like whip him like
Yeah.
dick with a belt. That's like it's kind of awesome.
The final thing I'll say to for all of my thoughts in the movie is that there's like one of the characters that we referenced earlier, that where I was like, oh, these are like video game characters, you know. It's I think it's Miss T, played by Shioli Kutsuna. Every time she talks, the way her voice was mixed, I don't know if you guys picked up on this while watching the movie, or maybe it was just my theater, but like the way her voice was mixed was so bizarre. It was like how when a character normally talks, it's like they come out of like specific speakers. Whenever
Right.
she talked, her voice came out of like every speaker, and it sounded
Oh,
insane.
interesting.
It was so I was like every time, but it was just her voice. Every time she spoke, it would like come out of every speaker, and I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
what the fuck?"
It does
Anyway,
feel
Yeah.
I
anyways,
didn't
How,
notice
how could I
that.
forget the star of Deadpool 2 and Deadpool and
no, of
Wolverine,
course,
most
yes.
famously? Yeah.
Right. I don't know if that happened in my theater, but I do think that makes sense in terms of like the way her character operates and the sort of she's so very like she kind of is very like video game. I pop up and I give you a tip like sort of
Yeah,
character,
yeah.
which
She's
is
like doing the tutorial.
right.
Yeah, it's like does the tutorial and then pops Charles Melton into a fight scene. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Awesome
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Let's very quickly talk about some news before we wrap up. I'll remind everybody to share some feedback if you like listening to us talk about Her Private Hell. You could like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. You can rate the episode on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and you can follow us at the links in the description, especially our link on Twitter. News wise, we've got double biopic news. One is a biopic we already have discussed in the past, but Tom Holland confirmed that his next movie will be the Fred Astaire biopic directed by Paul King. Uh, I guess we've kind of talked about this a little bit as like a
He needs
project
it.
that existed, but
Yeah.
um, but now it's
Yeah.
just like official.
I wonder if because I'm just curious about if this is Paul King's next movie because it feels
Or
like
if
it
there's
shouldn't
in
be
between.
or wouldn't be.
No, it's Wonka 3's his next movie because it's
Yeah.
Wonka
Right.
3 is
Well,
going into
that's what
production.
I'm saying. Where I
Yeah.
think Wonka 3 exists. Then there's also that there's also the little Boo Boo movie. Then there's
Yeah.
also the I think it's the Chris Hemsworth Charming movie, like the Prince Charming movie.
Right.
So I wonder if like what's the order of these and what
Right.
doesn't exist
I
ever.
mean, maybe Tom's going on a little vacation. The Odyssey and Spider-Man within a month of each other is like
Right,
you could
which
just
would
take your
make
5
sense
years
to
off if
me.
you want.
Which would make
But
sense to me. But also I could see it being Wonka 2 and then or Wonka 2, yeah, Wonka 2 and then this. I'm
yeah.
just curious because Paul is a very busy guy. Um,
Yeah.
but I think
We'll see.
you know,
Right. The
I
other
don't know.
piece of biopic news is that Glenn Powell will reunite with director Richard Linklater for a film about Lou Gehrig.
Crawling back to daddy. Fuck.
That's
To
funny.
do another movie where he's a baseball player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, this is like easy money. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be a
This
good
is
movie.
this is free. This movie
It's
might actually be one of his more successful movies, I feel like, at the box office. I feel like
Linklater.
this would be Yeah, I feel like this would be a movie that like every adult man over 40 will like
Right,
go
right.
see.
but I don't. I'm just worried if those people exist in this sort of
anymore. Yeah.
like
I
those
don't know.
people
I
go to
just
the
know a
movie.
lot. I just know like a lot of people's dads who would be like pumped about watching Glenn Powell play Lou Gehrig if I had to
On
guess.
streaming 2 months later,
Yes.
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
Where it's like,
right. You might be right. It might just be on streaming. It might just not be in
It
theater.
just might be a
Literally
Netflix
just be a
movie.
Netflix
That's
movie.
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
He does have a relationship with them.
Yeah.
and it would be the number 1 movie on Netflix.
Yeah,
And-
almost certainly. Yeah. Yeah. But what does that mean in terms
Right.
of like
Yeah.
Worth a lot, probably.
sometimes
For like
worth
job
nothing.
security.
Linklater
Sure,
is
yeah.
Linklater is kind of beast mode in terms of like his work output. He's
Mhm.
kind of ridiculous. In terms of like, I think there's like obviously other people who work more, but like in terms of the scale in Hollywood system that he's operating in,
Who works harder, Linklater or Hong Sang-soo?
well, that's what I'm saying. Like it's like Hong Sang-soo operates in like, or like Radio Jude or something like that. Like, these sort of filmmakers who are operating on like smaller budgets, not working with Netflix, and just like Hong Sang-soo can kind of just go make a movie whenever he wants to and film it in like 6 days and edit it in 2. Where it's like Linklater is working on like these big productions with
Expensive production schedules.
expensive productions with long, very
Pre and
tiring,
post.
like
Yeah.
but yeah, I think, I mean, he has, I think, multiple things in the works right now, and or shot stuff, and
Right.
it's like
Yeah, he's working on stuff for sure.
he's cool.
Are you excited for this?
I don't think it's like the I don't think it's gonna be the favorite Linklater of the things that he's working on,
Right.
or like I just think it'll probably be like, to me, probably like as good as Hitman, maybe. That's how I'm
I
kind
think
of
it'll be better
expecting
than
it.
Hitman. It's a baseball movie. It seems like,
Yeah, I liked
I
Hitman.
mean, I really like Hitman, so that would be a good if it's better than Hitman.
yeah,
that's
but
a
you
good
love the
mark for me.
Police, so
The Police, the band.
yeah.
The band? Yeah.
Well, it's like I don't know what that has to do with it. Oh, he's a
What
cop.
all the characters in Hitman are cops. What are you talking about?
I sort of forgot that part. I forgot that part.
Yeah.
I just remembered.
You're right.
I remembered like select few scenes. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, but it's not like a movie about like how cops are good.
It is. We talked about this in our podcast.
Cool.
It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Colin Firth, Julianne Moore, Laura Linney, and David Tennant will star in love triangle comedy The Joy of Sex, directed by Sharon Maguire, famously the director of Bridget Jones's Diary. It tells the story of the passionate and complicated romantic trio of Alex, played by Colin Firth, his wife Ruth, played by Laura Linney, and her best friend Jane, played by Julianne Moore.
Swag.
I didn't. Oh wow. This is probably gonna be fine, but I'm sort of forever devoted to Colin Firth, as like that guy is sort of magical.
Yeah,
like he has like magic beans that he eats every morning.
I think this
and,
whole cast rocks. I love like all 4 of these people.
Yeah. Shout out Julianne.
No, literally, I was gonna say I'm so awesome that she's in stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Right. No, I mean, yeah, she's fucking amazing,
Yeah.
bro. She's so good. Wow.
Days of Thunder will have a sequel starring Tom Cruise, directed by Jonathan Levine.
Yeah, bring Nicole back.
Who's
though.
that? Who the heck is Jonathan?
He is like not somebody that you would care a ton about, but he did what is it, like a lot of Seth Rogen comedies, which is weird that he's directing Days of Thunder. He did 50-50, Long Shot, The Night Before, which are all like Seth Rogen comedies, and then he did Warm Bodies. And he's also directing Mr. Irrelevant with David Corenswet. That's supposed to come out soon. So he's directing that movie and this movie back to back.
Oh wow.
It's interesting. Yeah, I like when I saw that the remake was happening, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then I saw the director, and I had to look him up because I didn't know him by name. And I was like looking at all the Seth. I was like, oh, this guy's doing Days of Thunder, but then I saw that he's doing Mr. Irrelevant right now, and I'm like, okay, maybe there's like,
well, I think like
something there. He
this
also
is like this is classic Hollywood, man. This is classic Hollywood.
Yeah, and he also did 9 Perfect Strangers, which was like a big streaming show.
Yeah. I think like what this means is people in the industry have seen Mr. Relevant and they're like, oh, this is
Yeah.
pretty good. Jerry Bruckheimer was like, oh, and then they're like,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah,
get
no, yeah.
this
Jerry
guy.
Bruckheimer was like, "Wait, this works for me."
Yeah, and then they
Yeah.
bring him on. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
I
It has
think
nothing to do
so
with Seth
as
Rogen.
well. No, I know. I'm just
No, I
saying
know.
that's
I'm
like
just,
what he.
but
That's just
I
like
think
what his whole
no,
filmography
I
is
know.
until
No, I
until
know,
these
but
two movies. Yeah.
I think he's entered a stage in his career where he's a new man. He
Yeah.
is
Different guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
None of those
The
none of those
pivot.
he ain't playing in the kiddie pool anymore.
Yeah. That was a pretty good impression of.
Ooh.
What's his
I was gonna say,
name?
what?
Did he not sound like fucking like Joe from Family Guy?
We're talking
You
about
sounded exactly like him.
I've never
No,
seen
you're
that.
like, that was a pretty good impression, and then you're like, wait, you guys don't hear it? That's Joe from Family Guy. Like,
His voice did like the thing where he sounded. What's the guy's name? I forgot the fucking actor's name. That's just what the actor sounds
Seth
like.
MacFarlane?
No, it's
No,
it's the
no.
guy. It's the guy who does like I know what you're talking
He's in
about.
like a bunch of comedies. He's like God, what's his name?
Really,
Somebody look up.
is a really deep voice.
Yeah, he has like a deep. That's what I'm saying. You
He
sounded
plays
like the
like
actor.
he plays like Crunk or something.
Yeah,
Yeah. Kronk. Yeah. He just it's like the guy with the deep voice, but you did that with your voice. Like you sounded like him. I swear. The thing is like Owen does things and doesn't realize too, because he does the Christopher Walken impression that we all
Yeah.
give
No,
him
I
shit
think
for,
I honestly
and
think like I just like too much. I watched too much like Christopher Walken and then Matt Johnson like interviews, and they both like Matt. Do you ever listen to Matt Johnson talk? It's like
Yes.
it's kind
Yeah.
of so
Matt
insane.
Johnson's so silly.
He talks in a very like he does this sort of thing that I was doing where it's like Walken has the same thing where it's like you're what is it when you do the different part of the word where you're
right enunciating
the wrong
Yeah.
part of the word.
Yeah, Owen, dude, when we're filming, me and Kate were just like giving Owen shit endlessly because he couldn't stop doing it, and I'm like, this is like, it's weird, like it's so weird. The way that Owen pronounces words is so fucking strange. It's like he doesn't really do it on the podcast, which is the
No.
weird thing. But then
I
when
think like
and
it's
when
like
we're talking in person, it's like every 10 minutes, dude. He'll just like not maybe even more often than that. He'll
I
just
think
say
like
a
I
word
was
and
like
you're like,
in like a
nobody
crazy
has
state.
ever pronounced that word like that.
But
Like,
it's
why
kind
are
of
you
I think it's
speaking like
fun.
that?
What if Charles Melton is a Maniac Cop?
Yeah, that might happen.
Like as
That
the
literally
cop.
has nothing to do
Yeah.
with anything we were
Yeah,
talking about.
as the cop.
I feel like if I
Sure.
try to do it on purpose, like I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
Just
I
thinking
think
about that.
I think
That'd
like it
be
just
good.
happens to me.
No, it does. I think you actually did it earlier this podcast episode, but it was like minor.
I
It was
definitely
like,
think I
I
did
like
it.
ignored
I do
it. But
definitely
I
think
think
I
I heard one. Travis Scott is finalizing a first look deal with Paramount Pictures to develop projects in both film and television. Quote, I want to bring back amazing films, pictures, and just creative good ideas. And Paramount's not scared to make good ideas.
Isn't
That's,
Paramount like Nazis?
Yeah.
Nazis, no. Well, it's the
Well,
Ellisons.
they
Yeah.
are in the rehearsrsal.
Yes, that is true. They were Nazis in the rehearsal,
oh.
and they are. It's like
Nathan
the
Fielder.
Ellisons. It's Larry
And the Ellisons
Ellison.
are, yeah.
It's the Ellisons who are like in bed with Trump.
Yeah.
Not
No, I mean they're
good.
not good people.
Literally?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. You know how those guys get around.
Shooting dust.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Did you see Donald Trump firing on all cylinders, dude? He was cracking jokes at the what was it, the White House Correspondents' Dinner or whatever? Did you guys watch any of his jokes?
I didn't tune in. No.
No.
Bro.
He had like one fuck, I forgot what the joke was already. He had a joke that I like people were like pissed about it on Twitter. I was like, actually that's kind of funny. But then but it's like people are writing these jokes for him, right? And then he had one joke where he said it and like nobody laughed. Like the room was silent. And then he started like explaining the joke. And then after explaining it, he just like threw the writer under the bus. He was like, yeah, someone wrote this for me. I thought it was going to be funnier.
That's
and I'm like,
funny.
dude, it's like the most Donald Trump delivery in the world. It's so funny. Yeah, it was mostly a disaster, but I kept seeing clips of it. Sky Yang will star opposite Daisy Edgar Jones in the film adaptation of Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow as the male lead. And Sean Kaufman is joining. Doug is making like a face that's
Sean
like not
Kaufman?
his face. That was crazy. He's
Wait,
in
do it again?
he's in the Summer I Turned Pretty,
Like Jim Carrey? Oh, yeah, okay. I
the
don't know.
TV show, and the actor Sky Yang is in Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon, yeah.
Yeah.
I know my Rebel Moon guys.
Yeah, well, he's like
Rebel
I don't know how
Moon.
prominent he is in the movie. He's like 12th on the cast, or maybe even lower than 12th.
Well,
on
it's
the
a
cast.
giant fucking ensemble
Yeah.
cast.
Yeah,
Uh,
but he's
Rebel Moon's
he's
good.
in like some upcoming project where it's like, oh, this guy is like,
Oh, like classic Hollywood.
yeah, like we wouldn't have seen him in anything, but he's like in
But they know.
he's in something that's
He's in The
coming out.
Uprising.
Yes. The Paul Greengrass movie.
Yeah, the Paul Greengrass movie
with Andrew Garfield, and he's also in that movie Last Days, which I guess nobody is ever gonna watch, though. I think it's streaming now. Nobody watched it. But
he's not in a lot of stuff. I'm going to be honest.
No. But
Yeah,
he's going to be the male lead across from Daisy.
He's in the movie with about the
How
haunted
old is
whistle.
he?
He's in the movie about the haunted
like
whistle
26
with
or
Daphne
27.
Keene.
Oh, okay. I just I thought for some I
6'7".
saw like a photo.
He looks young, or he looked young when you like Google.
Yeah,
him.
I saw
He's
a photo of him. I'm
27 or
like, he just
26.
seems a little young for Daisy.
Yeah, no,
That's what I-
27.
Okay, well,
yeah, and Sean Kaufman is playing like his best.
That's
friend
like a
in
normal
the book,
age.
I guess. That is a normal age. Yeah,
Shout
some would say
out-
26 is the best age to be.
shout out all my
You're old as
27-year-olds.
fuck, buddy.
Shout out all my
You're
27
old as fuck.
Jesus Christ.
Bro's unk.
Jesus
Where's that the
Christ.
unction? Bro's unking
Honestly,
it up.
it's not. I'm closer. Am I closer to 27 now than I am to 26? Yeah. I'm
Bro,
like,
you're
Yeah.
gonna be 27 in like a month.
That's not true. I'm gonna
I
be
mean,
20.
20.
Actually,
20. How old are you?
yeah. No, it's been. Yeah, I'm turning 27 in like 5 months. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
It's okay.
It's fucking over for me. Okay, and our last piece of news is
No,
that
it's all
Vulture
good.
made a list of the most powerful directors in Hollywood.
Oh fuck! I don't have the energy to talk about this.
Yeah, we won't. Well, we won't
No,
go like
come on,
as deep on it. I'm gonna just read the top of the list to you guys, and then I'll just like scroll and point out.
Just
some
can you like?
names.
Could you like read them all?
All 100?
No.
You want me to let me actually? I'll no commentary. I'll read 1 to 100 right now as fast as I can, and then you guys can absorb and just like catch a name and throw something out at the end.
Okay, I can absorb.
But like, wait until you're done, right?
Yeah, but do you want me to start from number 1 and go to 100, or count down from 100 to 1? What would be better for your absorption?
Both ways.
Oh yeah, do like a yo-yo.
Okay, great. No, yeah, that's thank you. Yeah, okay, we're gonna test how much. Let me have a sip of a drink first, really quick, just so my throat is.
This is so
Oh fuck! No, because I scrolled up and I saw who number 100 that I'm starting the list with is. It's so bad. Oh fuck! Okay, one more sip.
Okay.
Okay, you guys are gonna laugh as soon as I start with number 100.
I'm
All
not
right, you
gonna laugh.
ready? All right, starting from 100 to 1. David O. Russell, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Todd Phillips, Guy Ritchie, Zack Snyder, Michael Bay, Nia DaCosta, Edward Berger, Olivia Wilde, Benny Safdie, Ari Aster, Luca Guadagnino, Richard Linklater, Celine Song, Sean Baker, Barry Jenkins, Spike Lee, Ang Lee, Edgar Wright, Judd Apatow, Catherine Bigelow, Tim Burton, Osgood Perkins, Danny and Michael Philippou, Parker Finn, Scott Derrickson, Gareth Edwards, Jared Hess, Dan Trachtenberg, Adam Wingard, Matt Bettolini Olpin, and Tyler Gillette, Francis Lawrence, Chad Stahelski, David Leitch, James Wan, M. Night Shyamalan, Tyler Perry, Michael B. Jordan, Sam Raimi, John Krasinski, Gina Prince Bythewood, Paul King, Antoine Fuqua, Paul Feig, Alex Garland, Taika Waititi, Damien Chazelle, Steven Soderbergh, Martin McDonough, Adam McKay. We're at the halfway point. Kenneth Branagh, Bradley Cooper, Ben Affleck, Yorgos Lanthimos, Chloe Zhao, Brad Bird, Andrew Stanton, and Pete Docter, Joseph Kosinski, Christopher McQuarrie, Jon Favreau, Anthony and Joe Russo, Matt Reeves, John M. Chu, Sean Levy, Michael Mann, Wes Anderson, Joel and Ethan Cohen, Robert Eggers, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, Josh Safdie, Curry Barker, Kane Parsons, Peter Jackson, Alfonso Cuarón, Ridley Scott, Baz Luhrmann, J.J. Abrams, Danny Boyle, Sam Mendes, James Mangold, this is into the top 20, James Gunn, Emerald Fennell, Zach Kreger, Guillermo del Toro, Bong Joon-ho, Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu, David Fincher, Ryan Johnson, Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Top 10, Paul Thomas Anderson, Jordan Peele, Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, Quentin Tarantino, Greta Gerwig, Denis Villeneuve, Ryan Coogler, and Christopher Nolan is number one.
Here's my initial thoughts. Rage bait,
No
stupid.
props on reading that without messing up a single name.
Nothing list. Oh, congrats! You could read. Wait, like what?
Hey man.
Okay.
No,
Why
thank
would
you.
anyone do that?
Well, this is like a rage bait list, right? This is like nothing. This is like an this is like
Kind
an
of, but they
editorial,
do
like,
come
rage
with
bait list.
justification. Pick a name and I'll read their justification.
Curry Barker, who is one of the 30 most powerful directors.
Yeah, Curry
What do you-
Barker. He
Number
showed.
28.
Okay, he's in someone else's description. Sorry, Curry Barker is number 28.
Above
Kane
Robert
Parsons is
Eggers and the
27.
Coen brothers and Wes Anderson.
Okay, description. People will be like, no, it can't be, a producer says of the 20-somethings high placement on this list, but it is. You can argue that the youngsters behind Backrooms and Obsession will never be more powerful than they are at this exact moment, when every
Fair.
middle-aged executive in Hollywood believes they've got the special sauce to unlock the Gen Z audience and will greenlight whatever the hell they want to make. It's a smart bet, says the producer. You're not paying them much, you don't have to give them a huge budget, and there's a potential that you could spike it on the ROI. Who would you rather bet on in the long term? Parsons is schooled in design, but is more tied to the specific Backrooms project. Barker has his Obsession follow-up already in the can, though you wonder if it might be more prudent to bury that one and start fresh with more resources, or would a higher budget ruin the magic? For now, they're given equal credit for opening the industry's eyes about how to meet young viewers where they are.
I think it makes total sense as this is like power rankings, and these are like
it's like dynamic,
right? Where it's like I think it's fair to put them super high right now, and I think it is fair to say that they could just easily just drop fucking all off the list in a year. But right now it is like they are the golden goose.
That makes sense, I guess, because my gut it's like I understand like these movies are very successful that they directed and they're very young and because like famous as directors already, but like how are they like my thought was just like how are they more powerful than Osgood Perkins? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or James Wan.
They are.
Or
I mean, I think Osgood Perkins
are kind of. Yeah.
Like,
Osgood
Perkins like is just a lesser name than off just that one movie. Like Backrooms has so much motion.
Yeah. I think he has a better chance of like
he was a producer he was on set on Backrooms, so he gets to claim Backroom success a little bit. That's what I'm saying. Like
yeah, but like
but just in terms of like how much they're gonna entrust him with and like you know like what he could get from Hollywood in terms of like star power, in terms of budget, like
because
I do think there's probably like he could ask for more and they would rationalize it better than Osgood Perkins, who just like Osgood Perkins had that movie last year that like nobody watched.
Right.
But just because he works, he has so many movies.
I think
yeah, sure.
I think so. This is the big thing right here. If you do this list months after Longlegs comes out, like
he's higher.
Longlegs,
right?
Like Longlegs out was a peak, and he has not kept that peak. Where when we're working with Obsession, and we're working with Backrooms, you're taking the peak, where you're projecting and you're hoping and you're sort of speculating that it can only go up from here. But with Oscar Perkins, he is actually going down. And so I think like in the power rankings thing is like he's got the red fucking arrow,
right?
And they got the green arrow. But I think also like it's fluid in like the way where like Longlegs 2 comes out and it's fucking smash. Then they go up. He goes up a little bit. James Wan, I think. Well, it's interesting because I think like I say that, but I think sometimes I feel like I look at this list and I look at like Judd Apatow, and I'm like, this list is like, this feels dated. This feels like when's the last time Judd Apatow had any motion?
It's interesting. It's interesting to think about like them, because I was thinking the name that stood out to me when I was reading through it really quickly was how Michael Mann is like above a lot of people who just have like way more commercially successful movies. And I wanted to read the description because I'm guessing the power there is literally just that like he can announce Heat 2 and get Leonardo DiCaprio to be in
Right.
it. Like
Right.
actors are just gonna work with Michael Mann regardless. But like he hasn't had
Well, but like in my mind, it's like Michael Mann shouldn't be anywhere near this list because he's having
yeah.
such a hard time getting Heat 2
That's what I'm
made.
saying. I was
Yeah.
like that's a name that's so high on the list that
Who the
it's
heck is Pete
Michael
Doctor?
He's the animated. He did like Soul and like all those Pixar movies.
Okay.
He's like a
I feel like the guy has no emotion.
no,
No,
but
those
like
movies are
that's a
people like those
different
movies. Yeah.
like world entirely.
That's what I'm
Like, it's
saying.
like
I'm saying like I think animated directors are so weird where it's like I don't know, like there's like
like
people
if
who
he
like
made a live action movie,
Well, you
he
got to make a
wouldn't
lot. That's
have.
what Brad Bird did. Brad Bird
Yeah.
made the Mission Impossible.
But you
Yeah,
know
you got to
the
make it.
Andrew Stanton, the Dory guy or the fucking
Yeah.
Nemo guy, he made that movie and no one fucking saw it and everyone's like this sucks. But like a lot of like there's like live action movies or the animated movies that are like highly regarded and the director never does anything ever again or like of any note.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
different like it's a different industry.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like I was
think
just like
Michael
looking
Mann's
at
a
some of
good
the
one to
names and I was
shout
like
out.
Michael Mann is above like the Russo brothers.
Mhm.
And like I'm like I don't does that
Yeah, that makes
like how
sense.
do you justify that?
I know. I don't. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make
like
sense. No, it's
like the
Michael.
like
Dude,
Michael
Michael
Mann
Mann
is
can't.
35 and the Russo brothers and Jon Favreau are 39 and 40.
Michael Mann can't get his movie made. Like that's that
Yeah.
alone makes it like he has no power. He can't get his
Yeah.
fucking movie made. You know what I mean?
Michael Mann is even like the so Michael Mann is 35, 36 to 40 right behind him is Sean Levy, John M. Chu, Matt Reeves, Anthony and Joe Russo, and Jon Favreau. Like those are all directors
Sean
who
Levy should
I
be in the
just
top
think
20.
yeah, I'm like those are all directors who I think are
Sean
just more
Levy
powerful than Michael
Sean Levy
Mann.
kind of
Like,
has
very
evil motion,
clearly.
bro.
No, but Sean Levy's directing a Star Wars movie. He's directing a Marvel movie now. He's like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like I mean,
I don't know,
John M.
it's
Chu just did like both Wicked movies. Dude, he had like a fucking Best Director Oscar campaign for 2 movies that made like $1
Right.
billion, and Michael Mann is above him. Like I don't.
right.
Obviously, a way better director. That's like it's weird to define power that way because in what world is Michael Mann more powerful than John M. Chu? Other than that, John M. Chu couldn't get Leonardo DiCaprio to agree to be in one of his movies.
The one that sticks out to me, though, the biggest one that sticks out to me is Sean Baker. He's so
way
low.
low on the list.
He's
Yeah.
so
yeah.
low. It's like it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. And is it just because he wants to make low budget movies? He could
But- and
probably
that's
make
the
anything
thing.
he wanted to do. He just likes making low budget
Yeah.
movies.
The thing
know?
with like directors like that though is that if your justification for Sean Baker having any power is like the ability to get actors to want to work with him, then that should be like then he should be in the same spot as Michael Mann.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
because it's like this is the biggest independent director in America.
Bro,
like,
bro, what is
like
it
who
like?
wouldn't say yes to being in a
Sean
Sean Baker
Baker's
movie,
last
you know?
movie broke the record for most Oscars. Like he individual
Yeah.
Oscars won. You know, like
Yeah, and he's barely in the top 100.
Yeah, I
yeah,
feel like
that's
Oscars
ridiculous.
aren't really.
Sure,
They
but like
do
in
though.
terms
They
of
have to.
No, but
they
I'm
have
tr-
to- they have to
I'm
matter
saying
if
in
you're
terms of
talking
this
about, like-
list. I think like
Oh, in terms of this list, maybe.
like, I
But
feel
in
like
real
the-
life, they do.
I think that's fair. I just think like looking at this list is like I don't think they're really I don't think they're
Well,
really
they can't
weighing
because
that.
But
Sean Baker's so
they have to
low.
matter.
Like,
They have to matter in the list because it's like there's a direct correlation between success there and like what Hollywood thinks of you.
Oh, of
Like what
course.
other actors think of you, what producers think of you. Like, you know, you're telling me if Sinners didn't do what it did on its awards run, Ryan Coogler would be number 2. Like, there's no way. There's no, like
That's
every
my other
actor in
thing.
Hollywood wants to work with Ryan Coogler now.
Ryan Coogler might. I don't. The top half of the list, the very top of the list, is interesting. Christopher Nolan, number 1, I think is obvious.
Yeah.
Right. After that, I think it gets kind of weird. I think you can make an argument that all of these guys are too high.
Also, where
But
is
then
Greta
it's like,
Gerwig
who's
on
above
the
them?
list?
4.
Oh, she's 4. Okay.
Tarantino at this point,
Tarantino's way too high.
like
Well,
come
no,
on.
the thought is like he's just hasn't. If he wanted to make a movie, it's like potential
that's like
energy, you know?
ridiculous though. That's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like that's like
Oh,
stupid. It's like
okay,
if he want,
so are we gonna
he
say
could.
like he makes his last movie and then he's just still on the list if he wants to do another
No,
one?
that's what I mean. It's like,
Yeah.
how do you have him at number 5, knowing that at most he's gonna make a movie? Like, what's so powerful about a guy who's going to make one movie and then not make another one?
Right. I think
Like,
like he's
Ryan Johnson is
you're not
a
betting on that for
thinker
any
for
other
so
director on the
high
list. No,
too.
no director that's on this list. You're looking at it and you're like, okay, uh, like this guy isn't, like doesn't have a future. Like
The list
Tarantino's
Right.
the
doesn't make
only guy on the list where you're like, this guy's making one movie.
Where it's like you're putting him
no,
over
that makes
James
sense.
Cameron.
The list
Yeah.
is so strange. Like Bong Joon-ho sticks out too, where it's like, bro, Mickey 17 was a bomb. Mickey 17 was a bomb that also wasn't a critical success. How is
Yeah.
he up? Like, granted, I love that movie, obviously, and we all like Bong Joon-ho, but it's like, how is he so high on this list? Like, what's this list logic, you know?
Right.
Like,
I'll read you. Actually, this is interesting. I'll read you the description for Bong Joon-ho. It says, in Parasite's sweep, he gave us one of the best Oscar moments of recent vintage. Among insiders I spoke to, he's dinged less than you might think for Mickey 17 underperforming, perhaps because it still did pretty well internationally. Even his weird movies are interesting, says a producer. I actually think he's interested in audiences. He inspires enough faith that a distributor like Neon was willing to pick up his upcoming animated film about a squid ally. It's expensive and it might not work, but I'm told that with Bong, you're more likely to wonder whether it could work. Also,
I'm
I guess
excited for
that's
the animated movie.
I guess that's like
yeah.
part of this list is that this list was like they asked the opinions of producers.
That's why Del
how they
Toro's
determined-
high.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, because we always talk about this with Del Toro, where it was like he's so popular in Hollywood, like his
Yeah.
coworkers love him.
I mean,
you
it
know?
just makes sense to me that Del Toro's high. Like that's just
Yeah.
like,
well,
honestly, I'm kind of surprised he's not higher.
here's the thing.
He's had trouble getting movies made forever.
He's had trouble. He has a hard time with budgets, bro. With like because his whole thing is he wants to make expensive movies. He has a hard time getting the money for them, kind of, and also like he doesn't work with movie stars or anything.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And he's in a box office success because he's stuck in the fucking streaming torment nexus. You know, he's like a weird guy to evaluate on something like this. I love Pinocchio.
It's weird to me to compare somebody like Del Toro at 16 and Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu at 14 though, because I'm like, that's just a guy like that's a guy who's on this list kind of entirely for Oscar success. Like the only thing you're really like looking at is the fact that
he won Best Director back to back.
Digger might be a big movie, but it's like that guy's only a number 14 because Hollywood likes that he's been successful at the Oscar. Like that's really
over 10 years ago, bro. Birdman was 2014, The Revenant was 2015. And now it's like, I guess it's like, is it just like those two movies and then Tom Cruise wanted to work with him? Is that the only reason? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, in this justification, it says the owner of one of the most impressive Oscar streaks ever since his debut, Amores Perros, every single Iñárritu film has been nominated by the Academy. Even Bardo couldn't break the streak. That's kind of crazy.
That is crazy.
I didn't even Bardo got every single movie he's made has been nominated somewhere.
That's
at
crazy.
The Oscars.
Because Bardo got the cinematography
nom,
right?
That's kind of nuts. I'm not gonna lie.
That is insane.
That's pretty crazy.
He's such a darling. It's bizarre, actually.
Yeah. But that's kind of crazy to do that from your first movie when like you don't and still man, that's actually really I didn't know that was a thing. Like people should talk about that more. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I just think that's weird. That's like weird having him number 14 because it's like you're just
number 14
like
high as
all you're talking about is Oscars. I mean, even most of these Oscar movies aren't like super successful movies.
I don't think there's a really strong Iñárritu being above Emerald Fennel is crazy.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if anything, Emerald Fennel is underrated on this list. Is that crazy to say? I think Emerald Fennel should be a little higher.
I'd agree. Yeah,
she's an auteur. She's like a real auteur that is making a shit ton of money and getting like very famous people in her
and
movies.
Also going to be like she's in the same.
Right.
She's bad. Like we don't like her movies, but it's like these are the facts, you know.
I think if you're just like looking at these directors as like this isn't how we're judging it, but I think if you're looking at these directors as like. We talked about last week on the Odyssey how Christopher Nolan is like the most like the feedback was that people went to the movies more for Christopher Nolan than they did the stars, right? And if you're thinking about like a director and it's like, do people know this person's name? Are they going to the movies because this director is making a movie? Emerald Fennel, in terms of like recognition for name and like people wanting to go see the next Emerald Fennel movie after Wuthering Heights, I think she's like in the top 10 if that's the only like
maybe higher. Bro,
I don't know,
Like,
because there's some
Yeah,
heavy hitters at
I
the
think
top.
like
well, yeah,
she
yeah,
makes
but
more
like
sense
she's
like over like
yeah,
Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Yeah.
yes. Well, I don't.
I don't know.
Lord and
Project Hail Mary might change things a little bit.
Well,
But
Project Hail
I
Mary,
think
and they're the Spider Verse guys,
No,
bro.
I know, but I think
right.
Project Hail Mary, because it's like the
I think the
live action thing
Project
that you're
Hail
talking
Mary
about, and
is
it's
the
gonna have like an Oscars
Project Hail
moment.
Mary is the
And it,
green
yeah,
arrow,
Yeah.
but I do think like I don't think that's gonna age well. Like, and
I think it
not even in
might.
terms of the movie stuff, but like, do you think like the next Phil Lord and Chris Miller movie,
Yes, I actually
like
do.
they
I
have their
actually,
names
if I was betting, I actually think they're gonna be like regularly making
right?
big movies in Hollywood.
But do
They're
you like
they're a young person's favorite filmmaker without them even knowing that they're
right?
their
But
favorite
like,
filmmaker.
how different are they than like the Daniels?
They make way more movies than the Daniels.
Right,
The
but
Daniels haven't
in
been
terms,
working.
sure, is that like? But would you say that's like the only like
More successful movies too. I mean,
Well,
Everything Everywhere All at Once is like,
right? But
is more idiosyncratic. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, they make franchise pictures.
yeah,
The Daniel,
like
sure,
big ones.
yeah, they do like Spider-Man cartoons, and like the Project Hail Mary is like a big IP book.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like,
I guess I'm looking at them, and like one's 11 and one's 31, and I just feel like they're I think that I understand the lack of movies, but I think like when that Matt Damon movie comes out, it's gonna be a big deal.
if this was right, here's the thing:
If this
if
is
this was
right after Everything Everywhere All at
everything
Once.
ever all at once, the Daniels are probably top 10, if not
Yeah,
higher. But the thing is, like the Daniels,
I know. They fucking
they
fumbled the
fucked
bag.
themselves because they signed those contracts to do the fucking Loki TV show and shit before
yeah,
the movie came out. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's an interesting list. It's interesting to like the most interesting thing to me is like the old names, like Scorsese at 8 and Steven Spielberg at 7, and like
Scorsese so high is so strange to me because similarly to the Michael Mann thing, it's hard for me to believe. You
Yeah,
know,
it almost feels like this
it's like
respect,
respect. Yeah, you
but
respect him as an artist,
it's
but
not like we respect you, but we don't want to pay for it. It was like the Megalopolis thing when everyone showed up and like very interesting. I don't want to touch it, but cool,
yeah.
man.
The original Marty Supreme and the most venerated auteur in town. All the hip young directors grew up idolizing him. Scorsese has paid them back in kind,
Wait, they called him the
lending his weight
original
to the
Martin
next generation as a
Supreme?
producer, as names as varied as Ari Aster and Joanna Hogg can attest. His late period marks an interesting comparison to Steven Spielberg's. For so long, Scorsese was the ultimate outsider, while Spielberg was the consummate insider. Now, though, it's a tougher call who's got more juice. Many argue it's Scorsese. As long as the budget's under 100 million, it's an automatic green light. You would have been a fool to count him out, says a producer. He's still very viable. Ultimately, the fact that his most recent movies are subsidized by streamers has me giving the edge to Spielberg.
okay. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Purely as like you're a studio head. You're fucking Seth Rogen at the studio.
Mm-hmm.
In the studio, right? And you have three things, and this is all the information that I have that you have. You have no genre information, budgets, or anything. It's just this, and you get to pick one of these three movies to pay for and own and distribute, right? The next Steven Spielberg movie, the next Martin Scorsese movie, or the next Jordan Peele movie directed.
Jordan
Jordan
Peele.
Peele.
Jordan
Jordan
Peele.
Jordan Peele, right?
Easily.
Yeah, Jordan Peele makes money,
Easily,
bro.
Easily.
exactly, and he's behind both of them. It's interesting,
Yeah.
right?
Jordan Peele, I think the only reason why they bumped Jordan Peele down a couple spots is because how like in limbo the next Jordan Peele project is, where it like had the confirmed date and now it
I
got
think
pushed back.
also,
And
like,
it's been
Whenever
shown.
he does it, though, it's cash
no
money.
Red
It's gonna
Arrow,
be
bro.
cash.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
just like I think like the next movie, if it's like received a little better critically and like audience wise, he's
Yeah.
back up
The
there.
thing with Jordan Peele is that like it's like what we were saying with Emerald Fennel, where it's like he has an in, where it's like Emerald Fennel has a thing where it's like this is what people know
Right.
Emerald Fennel for, and Jordan Peele's thing is that he's like Christopher Nolan's like a bad person to compare him to. It's like Jordan Peele is like this is a guy who is just gonna make a movie that like for the average person nobody is watching movies like this. Like they're
Right.
not watching a movie as creative as a Jordan Peele movie ever, and but like
bro,
like you know what I mean? No, I'm
you're not
serious. It's like
lose
for a
so many
popular
people's
movie that makes
minds.
money, like
Yeah,
nobody is making a movie as creative as Jordan Peele, and so like that's the whole draw. Is like they're like, oh, this is like the one. Like if all you're watching is the Odyssey and Project Hail Mary in theaters, and then you hear that like no, but I'm serious. You know what I mean? It's like if that's like what you do, and then you hear that a Jordan Peele movie's coming out, you're like, I have to watch it. Like, that's so different. Like, it's like I'm so
Right,
interested.
he's
in
so
that. Like, you don't.
weird.
They wouldn't say that about anybody else.
No, imagine and there's also like it's not an insult, okay? Not most people don't watch as many movies as the three of us, and the three of us don't even necessarily watch as many movies as other people, right?
I don't
But like,
watch shit.
but but you think about think about all of the young people who like one of their favorite movies are Nope, and the way that they'll talk about Nope, and it's like, yeah, I've never seen anything like that before. You know, like I've never seen an alien movie like that before. I've never seen aliens depicted like that before, right? It's like you can't get people to, you know what I mean? That lasts forever.
To be fair, I would say all those things about Nope.
Sure, no, but
it's one of my favorite movies, and I also haven't seen a movie like that. But
you know what I mean? But that shit lasts forever. To get somebody to sit down and like have that experience.
It's like the way that he's like different in a way that like
he
is just gonna
different.
have.
No, he is different. No, yeah,
yeah. Like it's
I agree.
I would love to. I would love to go long about this on a pod, like its own pod. We should
make
do
our
a
own
podcast.
list.
No, I was gonna say we should do a podcast where we take all 100 names and put them in order.
We should do that.
Well, you said make our own, but I'm saying like
we should re-rank this.
Not like I'm just saying like just change the order of the list that they already.
It's like we do like those like group ranks where it's like a team. You have to like decide. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, it's like we each pick a spot.
It's like a collaborative draft, but with the re-ranking of the.
Yeah, we could find a method to do this, but we should
do that.
If you're interested in a podcast like that, let us know, because if there's
it might be a 6-hour podcast.
No. We could do it. It wouldn't be that long.
We could do, if it's its own thing.
Are we gonna spend like fucking 40 minutes talking about? Actually, we could spend a lot of time talking about a lot of these names.
Dude, it's 100 people.
I was thinking 100. If you just say stop right now. I'm just scrolling on the list. Just say stop.
Yeah, stop.
The Philippos and Parker Finn.
Exactly. Yeah, we could go along about
like debating those two.
Yeah.
Well, those are just the two names I landed on.
No, I know, but like who's higher? Because that's actually
the Philippos are 77. Parker Finn is 76.
Right, and I'm just like,
I know you're saying like us. We would.
The debate of like who should be higher is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
We should,
because like Parker Finn Loki has like crazy juice, but like I do feel like if this
the Smile movies make
Parker Finn has.
I know, but like what happens if the Possession movie has like a 1.9 on Letterboxd or something? Like, what are people like this dog shit? I hate this, you evil fuck.
Well, it is. Yeah, I mean, it says something about fucking Robert Pattinson. It depends
how they market it. I think
to do the Possession movie, basically.
No, I know
the possession thing. I think it all comes down to marketing, because if you market Possession the way that you market Smile, and like the average person who watches Possession doesn't know about Possession, then like that shit won't matter.
I feel like the Filippo brothers could like get lost and like we could like they could disappear.
The Filippo brothers are going to fall off. They're going to fall off. It's just like but it's not an insult to them. It's like it's literally how we always talk about them, where it's like they don't have ideas. They're just going to make the same shit forever.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I know
what I mean.
I know. And like they're like
interesting. I think there's a lot of interesting names to debate on this list.
Yeah, we can do.
Would we just go like, you know what we should do is we should start at 100 and just do like what we did with higher or lower, but like it's like is 100 higher than 99, and then we just move them and keep going, and like
the David O. Russell debate. Oh my god.
Yeah, the David O. Russell versus who is it? David O. Russell versus Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Bro, shoot me, dog.
Actually, Maggie Gyllenhaal being 99 is interesting place, man. I would.
It
think
is
just
interesting.
Of, like, star power.
I feel like honestly that's kind of disrespectful to David O. Russell.
It is a little bit, right?
Right.
But here's like Amsterdam was such a disaster, though. Anyway, we can't do this right now. Though. We have to.
But he kind of has like evil. He has like evil, crazy motion. Like that dude's like kind of an evil wizard.
Oh, it's so late.
He got Taylor Swift in Amsterdam, and nobody watched that shit, dude. That's actually like no, that's actually a real stain if you think about it. It's like he put Taylor Swift in a movie, and that shit made $4. Like,
it's crazy. Amsterdam is such a bizarre failure. It's not even the kind of failure that like people talk about. It's just like a forgotten movie.
It's like Cats.
Yeah, that movie doesn't exist like at all.
Also, Taylor Swift's agent needs to die.
Wait, where would Taylor Swift be on this list?
Interesting.
Whoa.
Wow.
He was like, I'm doing my debut feature film. Like,
probably in the 60s. In the 60s.
How much motion
did she have? What do you think? Just off the top of your head, like that sounds
Well,
right.
she could
She
get,
can't
like-
be. She can't be too high. She's you
No,
know.
I know. Like, I
Okay,
feel like
yeah,
60s even kind of like.
I
I
don't
don't
know, though.
know.
Would you say like? So you said in the 60s,
She's like the most famous American. She's the most famous American.
right? So
except
would
for
you say that
Donald
Taylor
Trump.
Swift is more powerful than M. Night Shyamalan?
No, because M. Night's a producer. Here's the thing: all the guys that are like producers that make money on the movies they produce, I feel like
Right.
I just value them so high in a list like this.
So I feel like
Right.
60s too high. I feel
Yeah.
like the
Okay,
70s.
let me look at the 70s.
The 70s, I think she could fit there.
Yeah, Taylor Swift or
Like, I gotta be
or Scott
honest.
Derrickson.
I gotta be honest. Like, she is more powerful than like Jared Hess.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Same with Scott Derrickson. I would put him. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck
Scott Derrickson
Okay.
has both of us blocked on Twitter.
Actually, I'm unblocked. I don't know how that happened, but
He said I changed my mind.
I actually like.
All right,
I
let's
don't-
wrap up there. Let us know in the comments if that interests
This
you
is
at
so
all
funny.
as a full podcast episode.
This is longer than our
We'll
Odyssey episode.
think about it.
It's so
Yeah.
long.
No, but
It's
to be
it's
fair,
also, like,
to be
it's a
fair,
late
a
episode,
lot.
and Kevin was like, "Guys, I can't record late. I can't record late." And
No, I
like
know. I
fucking
was like, I have to
midnight.
wake up so early tomorrow. It's midnight right now, and I do still have to wake up early tomorrow. But I'm thinking
man.
about it. For those listening, I'm going tubing tomorrow, and so I'm thinking about it, and I'm like,
I was gonna die.
dude, I'm just gonna be chilling in the water. Like, I don't really care if I don't sleep, right? Like, I'm not gonna
Wait,
that's like
tubing, but like tubing like fast though. Or no, tube.
with some
Are you
speed,
just
but,
like? Are you
a-
just chilling? You just chilling in the
A
tube?
lot of it, I think, is just going to be like just drifting. Just, like, kind of floating in the
that's not
water.
how
My girlfriend said that she went to this place already, and there's like not that many rapids. It's not like repetitively like rapids the whole time. So I think a lot of it will just be chilling. So I'm
Okay.
like, fuck
That's a
it, dude. If
different
I
brand
lose
of
sleep,
tubing
whatever.
than I'm used to. Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
I like my I like my tubing violent.
The worst, yeah, okay. The worst part of not getting sleep is that I have to drive into New York City in the morning, and then from New York City, drive 2 hours to the place that we're tubing, and then when we're done, I have to drive 2 hours back to New York City and then back home. So that part will be
2 hours
not
isn't
fun.
that long though. But after tubing,
It's not,
it will
but like
be
when
crazy.
that's what I'm saying. It's not too long, but when you haven't slept a long time and you've had like a full day,
Right.
it kind of sucks. But I've done worse.
So maybe we should end the
I'll start.
podcast.
Yeah.
Next
week,
me and Owen
I will
are
be on
ranking
vacation.
every Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, Doug and Owen will be
Blindfolded.
fair. Doug and Owen will be talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day next week on episode 176.
We might not talk about it. We're gonna rank all the Spider-Man movies though. Whether or not we'll talk
We have to have
about Brand
seen
New
the
Day
movie
very
to
much.
rank it.
Yeah.
But are we gonna talk about it? Probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll talk about all of them.
All of them.
Yeah. You might do a podcast longer than this one.
It'll be
Almost certainly not.
an hour long for each.
Doug's like, I don't want to do that.
This is long
All
as
right.
fuck.
Episode 176 next week. We'll see you later. Bye.